Okay, and go.
Hello there, and welcome to the second edition of the Football Central review of the match week. After an impressive breakthrough campaign, my name is Jordan, also known as JLI Wheels, and joining me, always up there in the scoring charts for the team. It's a shame he's not the same with the ladies, though. It's the talisman, Sam Taylor, and finally, captain, leader, legend, Mr. Tube Mix. Did you enjoy that?
Thank you very much. That was a very good intro. Yeah. Oh.
I'd also like to give a shout out to one of the unsung heroes of the team, who very much a Jack Wilshere. Not there very much, always missing sometimes, but when he is there, his presence is very highly felt, and that is Mr. Ben Carney, who can't be with us today. Failed a last-minute fitness test. But we miss him, and he'll be back soon.
Absolutely.
Oh, we have word. We just have word in. We have word in that Ben is recovering nicely from his injury and should be ready to make an appearance off the bench on Saturday
Yeah,
afternoon.
he managed a full 90 for the under-23s.
Oh, boys,
that
that was brilliant. That was.
that went perfectly. I really enjoyed that.
I really did enjoy that. That was great. Boy, you didn't disappoint. You never disappoint. That was brilliant, both of you.
Props to Sam for helping me fine tune it. But yeah.
Well, thank you both for that.
And we'll hand over to the main host.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Go on.
Thank you very much. Hello there, as I said. As they said, rather. Welcome to Football Central. And as JLI Wheels and Sam said, I'm joined by JLI Wheels and Sam Taylor. Good evening, chaps.
Hello.
Good evening, everybody.
Well, what a week of football we've had, in the Premier League. I mean, there's been loads of goals. I mean, I think Sam told me, what was it, the record number of goals in a season?
The record goals scored by one, by City's Gabriel Jesus scoring the third goal, albeit by the deflection in a 3-1 win against Wolves on Monday night. That took the total, if I'm not mistaken, to 44 goals, one more than the record in a Premier League weekend, which was 43.
Okay.
Right, so I want to start things off. I know I personally think that we should do these in order of the games, but I know that one big talking point that everybody's talking about at the minute, all over Facebook, all over Sky Sports, all over everything, is Kepa. So I wanted to get that out of the way, just so that we could focus on everything else that we've got in a brilliant match week this week. Kepa against Liverpool. I think you boys covered it, didn't you?
Yes, we did, yeah.
I think you covered it.
We did.
As a goalkeeper, I was a bit more complimentary about him when we did the last one of these. I spoke about how I felt he looked a lot more confident, but he did ultimately let himself down against Brighton. Now, there's no real pressure for this second Liverpool goal. The first one was good quality, good play. There's nothing you can really do about that. And Christensen getting sent off again, it's nothing to do with Kepa, and we'll touch on that when we do talk about Chelsea later on, because I want to talk about Chelsea as a whole later on when we get to the actual game. But, what's important to me is that second goal, it's a opportunity for him to distribute. There's loads of ways he could have gone with it. He could have gone either side to either fullback, and he opts to pass straight into the. And the thing is, as well, surely as a goalkeeper, you're constantly looking around to see the options, and if you can see, if Mane is quick, surely the better option would be to pass into a corner to one of the fullbacks, or I just don't understand it. And then he passes straight to Mane, who has a lot to do from there. I think sometimes we've seen players can get chances like that, and them players are the ones that are more likely to miss. But irregardless,
Yes.
should not be getting anywhere near as guilt-edged a chance as that.
I agree.
And that's all I have to say on it. I think ultimately I was looking at the stats for Mendy today, and he contributed this season he made 0 errors last season, so that's ultimately what I'm looking at this point.
Leading to goals, is that?
Yeah, leading
0 errors that led to goals.
Yeah, led to goals. Yeah, so because every top keeper's done it. I imagine De Gea has quite a high percentage that's going to be up there with Kepa's. Even the likes of Dean Henderson's made mistakes this year.
Yes.
So keepers are going to do it. However, I think Kepa's was like 0.9 or something like that.
Ooh,
0.09 over the course of the season, which doesn't seem like a lot, but for a top quality goalkeeper, I think it's quite a bit. So, yeah. That's my 2 cents. If you boys want to say something about it very quickly, and then we'll move on to the first game.
Yes. I mean, I thought, I thought, as soon as I saw the second goal, Kepa certainly should have done much, much better. And you're right, as you said, George. As a goalkeeper, you've got to be looking for options, and I don't know whether his mind just went blank or. I'm not sure. Clearly, maybe he is low of confidence, isn't he? I think that's really quite clear. Well, to me personally, it is. I don't know if you agree, but
I think it's worth saying as well. Sorry to interrupt. It's worth
no,
saying
that's all right.
that we've never played football.
Nope.
We've never played football professionally. Yeah, but I mean. Okay, able-bodied football, because it's different. It's a different type of thing. There's 11 men on the pitch. There's a lot.
It's not. The fundamentals are the same, even though.
Okay, all right then. So in which case, when you are, you don't play in goal, but when you are looking to find a teammate, are you looking all around the pitch, or are you focusing solely on whatever you can see in front of you?
No, I'm looking all around the pitch if I can.
Because that's sort of that's the only bit of saving grace I could possibly think for Kepa, that maybe in that moment, in that situation,
yeah,
you're only thinking, you're thinking, okay, let's get this out quickly, let's pass it out, but. It's a goal kick. I don't think it was a goal kick actually. I think it was just a pass back, wasn't it? So he could have taken his time. He could have just received the ball from the player and whacked it out.
Yeah.
And he's not done that. There was a lot of there was a little bit of criticism of Frank as well for somebody that's cost that amount of money.
£72 million.
But has also been somebody that they could look to sell on. by having him in the team and in making those mistakes, you're definitely hurting the player, both financially and then their fan base, their brand as well. A lot of players are also brands in this regard. So it's definitely probably not the best. Probably not the best move from Frank, but
Sorry, carry on.
no, go on. That was it. That was what I was going to say. That it's probably not the best move by Frank, but
No.
they're paid to make the decisions at the end of the day.
Yes, you have to make tough decisions as a manager.
Is it the decision I would have made? No, I probably would have had Caballero in there.
Yes. A dustbin could do better than Kepa. I'd trust a dustbin, I think, more than Kepa.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say on the issue, Will, before I make my point, or
No, I've said everything about Kepa. I just want to add a little more. Just by saying, ever since Kepa arrived, I've never really rated him from the start. You know, I definitely think he's certainly not worth all that money, and certainly nowhere near on the level of Courtois, who for me, and I'm sure Jordan will agree as a fellow Chelsea fan, and I'm sure Sam will also agree. Courtois was one of the best keepers in the Premier League in recent years prior to his move to Real Madrid.
I think that's one of the problems, and sorry, Sam, because I know that you've got a point to make, but that's one of the problems is like,
okay.
Let's think about, you know, you've instantly straight away likened back to Courtois. Courtois, we knew, was an incredibly talented goalkeeper.
Yes, a top keeper.
Kepa to me just is not that same type, and I don't think, you know, when Chelsea bought Kepa, I don't think they were looking for the next Courtois either.
Oh,
I think,
okay.
You know, there's the same debate to be had. You know, United got rid of Schmeichel and had some quite, you know, high-profile, error-prone goalkeepers. You know, you think of Taibbi and players like that. Then they got Barthez, and then they brought in Van der Sar.
Oh, yes, who was brilliant for them.
Then De Gea came in, and De Gea got a lot of stick.
He did.
He did. Is as football fans, you can't help but think, oh, you know, he's no Thibaut Courtois, he's no this, he's no that. But for me, I've just been able to think of players as different players, you know. To me, Courtois is just completely different to Kepa.
Right.
I think he's got a different personality as well.
Definitely, I think that's the big thing.
He's strong, he's confident. You look at one of the issues Gareth Bale has had at Madrid, beside all his injuries, is that people compared him to Ronaldo when he went. And Bale, in terms of ability, I know he doesn't get the goals Ronaldo did, but ability-wise, yeah, okay, there were comparisons, and he wasn't that far off. He could do things that Ronaldo could do, just not as consistently. But he was a different character. Bale's a bit more within himself and shy, where Ronaldo's very out there, and he's got to be the best at everything.
See, I think that has probably hit the nail on the head.
Bale
to do with the Bale issue, and in the same respect, you know, when you're coming into a club that you know, in one position, Arsenal, for example, every striker they've ever had since Henry, you know, you're looking at the next Henry, you know, and in some ways,
Aubameyang's the only one. Aubameyang. I think it's very important for players not to get bogged down to be somebody else. Go on.
Aubameyang, I feel, is quite similar to Henry.
No, he is. but he's his own individual
Yeah,
as
but
well.
what you're saying is that there is always that the thing of Mason Mount being like Frank Lampard. I don't like that. Because I think they're different players. I think if anybody would emulate that, it would be Kai Havertz. But there's already so much on him because as soon as his name's being talked about, you're hearing, oh yeah, Kai Havertz, a mixture of Michael Ballack and Frank Lampard, which is something I'm guilty of saying. When really we've seen it.
Yeah, and you look at the lad Pulisic, and everybody compares him to Hazard, but he's his own player in his own right. And
yes, I like him.
I think even going back to Gareth Bale, because I think he's a great example. Gareth Bale is good enough to get in the Real Madrid first 11 when he's fit. The issue he's got is that after having Cristiano Ronaldo, the fans wanted Cristiano Ronaldo type numbers from him.
Yes.
And he wasn't, and he couldn't do that.
No.
Yes, he was good. He's good enough to get in the Real Madrid first team when he's fit now, but he's no Cristiano Ronaldo. But because he got brought when Ronaldo was there and with the price tag and all that, he got compared to him. And Kepa is getting compared because of the money he came for and the expectation on it, got compared to Courtois and Cech to a certain extent before him. So and yes, for me, for the money, Kepa isn't good enough to play for Chelsea. That's just my opinion. But I think he got far too labelled too early. But unfortunately, when you come for big money, you've got to be able to ride that. And I think he's been weighed down by the number one shirt. And he's never looked free to me. He's never looked like, right, I'm going to... Like Bruno Fernandes has come in. Bruno Fernandes has the Cristiano Ronaldo mentality where I don't care what you're going to say about me. I'm going to show that I'm the best player in this team, and that's that. That's the kind of mentality you got to have. But Kepa just doesn't seem to be able to ride that. If you finish with your point on Kepa, Will, I'd just like to make one more.
No, but I've already made all my points on Kepa. I'm done. I'm done.
Right. So, however many signings you make, you cannot win trophies, or you'll very rarely win trophies without a good keeper, because your keeper will make 5 or 6 saves, say in a cup, and 10 to 15 in the league that you could say earn you points. They got you from losing positions to winning positions. So I don't know what Jordan thinks, but I believe you can never win, certainly a league, without a good keeper, because
I agree.
Because however good your team is, so for Chelsea it's a problem.
If you stuck Manuel Neuer in at West Brom, I'd still think that they would go down.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying the keeper makes the team. I'm saying if you've got the team like Chelsea have now, but for me, until they sort the goalkeeper out, they'll struggle to win anything because all right, they might win the old cup, but they'll struggle to win a league without a good keeper, because in those crucial moments he'll let you down. Now, having played the game of football, and I accept Jordan's point that I play power chair football, so there's only 4 aside to 11 aside, and we're all in power chairs. But the fundamentals are the same. Your goalkeeper is crucial, because whenever I've played in goal, and I'm not very good in goal, I'll admit it's not my natural position, but whenever I played there in training, and everything, one of the best pieces of advice I got was your keeper has to be commanding to those in front of you.
Yes.
And you have to talk to those in front of you and organise the team to a certain extent, because your goalkeeper can see everything that's going on, yeah? So if you've got your keeper stood in the goal, he can see to his left, he can see to his right, he can see forward, he can see sideways, he can see all the players basically, unless somebody's maybe in the corner flag behind him. So he can see most of the pitch. Your players on the pitch the outfield players might not be able to see everything around them. They might have a player behind them. They might have a player to the side of them that's just out of the vision. And you often hear the crowd going, man on, or man behind you. But the keeper can see all of that because he's looking at the game face on. Do you see what I'm saying? So the keeper has a responsibility because he can see things that the teammates on the pitch and the outfield players can't see.
Yeah.
Because he's looking at it straight on. And let's face it, there's the old saying you have to be crazy to be a goalkeeper. And basing on what I've said, that a keeper can see everything in front of them and to the side. You have to be commanding, and Kepa is not commanding him enough. Now, whether that's because of his confidence or whatever, fair enough. Now, every player makes mistakes. You go through a whole, you'll very rarely in a game not see an outfield player make a mistake of some sort. Now, goalkeepers is a bit different because often when they make mistakes, they lead to either a goal or a shot on goal, which 8 times out of 10, if a keeper makes a mistake 25 yards or closer to the goal, then it's going to end up in a goal. Now, I don't think anybody is perfect. So the best keepers in the world, Michael, Casilla, Neuer, all them, Courtois, all them have made mistakes and will make mistakes that unfortunately, if they happened in other areas of the pitch, wouldn't lead to a goal. But because they're a goalkeeper, they often do. We can live with that. The issue with Kepa is the amount of mistakes he makes. He makes consistent mistakes. And unfortunately, because of the position he plays, because he makes consistent mistakes, they lead to goals. And there's your problem.
Yes.
I think that answers my questions compared about everything that we've talked about. Now, with that being said, first game of the match week was West Brom and Everton, and me and Sam have got something to say to you actually, Will.
Oh.
Because you said that Sam agreed that Slaven Bilic should have been sent off. But me and Sam had a conversation yesterday, and Sam said he never said anything like that to you at all.
No, I said it should have been it Mike Dean acted too quickly, and if any punishment was to be given out, he should have maybe at the most got a yellow card, because he did approach him quite close, and was persistent with him, but he didn't swear at him, so maybe at the most it should have been a yellow. Where you got confused, Will?
Sorry.
I said Kieran Gibbs should have been was right to be sent off, and not Slaven Bilic, but that's okay.
So,
of
course, I think I got mixed up, I think.
One point I would like to make on that is, Will said any person in this world can have a rush of blood to the head. So,
Yes.
Mike Dean maybe saw Slaven Bilic come at him and he's produced a red card. But knowing the reputation Mike Dean has, Mike Dean does things because he gets a kick out of it. So
Yeah.
he likes to be the centre of attention. So I'd be very surprised if Mike Dean didn't do that just to get,
And the thing
just to
is, you
get
can hear exactly what Mike Dean is saying to Slaven Bilic. He's trying to talk to him, and Mike Dean's just going, "Go away, go away, go away." Like, it's just not. That to me isn't very professional at all.
I just think Mike Dean's a bit of an. I've always thought Mike Dean's a bit of an idiot. You've seen him. Did you see it when Aguero got a hat trick and he went up for the match?
That was funny.
And he was like flicking the ball from one end to the other. Aguero.
So good. Oh, yeah, no, that's brilliant. What a guy, Mike Dean.
Yeah. Well, at least it's
It's a
good for
character.
entertainment purposes.
Yeah. So the main thing I wanted to talk about, and maybe it's best to just recap the game. Oh, there's fireworks going off outside my house. Sorry about that. Maybe it's just best to recap the game first before I talk about what I want to talk about. Game started really well for West Brom.
Yeah.
We spoke a lot about Grady Diangana over the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
And he showed his class with a brilliant finish past Jordan Pickford. Everton, we knew that even if West Brom did well, I think
It was always going to be tough for them.
Everton were always going to have that extra little bit of quality, and it's very
In
very
midfield,
clear,
particularly.
very clear what Ancelotti and Duncan Ferguson have been working on Calvert-Lewin with. A brilliant hat trick for him.
Yes.
Also we saw Mateus Pereira get his first goal in the Premier League, and I think with Dean Garner and Pereira, West Brom are always going to have threats for sure. Kieran Gibbs got sent off. We talk about professionalism. This is an England international. At one point he was England international, FA Cup winner.
With Arsenal.
He knows, and
Exactly.
a senior player like that. Definitely to me the most experienced player in that side, despite not being really that old. To me it's just so poor.
Yes.
I don't know what James said to him. Quite frankly, I don't care, because he just twats him one right in the face, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he should know better. He should. Kieran Gibbs, yeah. Absolutely. I must admit, I'd actually forgot about him prior to West Brom coming up. Actually.
Will, Sam was just talking and you were cutting him off as he was talking.
Oh, sorry, because it went silent a bit, so I thought you'd accidentally either gone or was not about to speak yet, or
No. So
okay, sorry, apologies, Sam. See, Sam, can you hear me?
oh no.
Oh, okay,
Leave and come back, Will. Leave and come back.
Okay.
Sam can make his point.
right, okay, right. Okay, sorry about that, guys. We'll just get it. Oh, right, okay. Just got a technical issue here. Hang on, I'll call the boys again. If you want to, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the Tube Mix YouTube channel if you like what you've seen. Right, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, apologies, Sam.
No, it's alright. You couldn't hear me. You couldn't hear me. I was just saying, regardless of whether it was a red card or not, he gave the referee a decision to make.
Yes.
It was blatant, really. So
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a definite silly decision, and left the ref with a decision to make, and that decision was a red card.
Yes.
So yeah. Got anything you want to add on that, Will?
No. It was, I saw it on Match of the Day and I said, yep, that's definitely the right decision, the Kieran Gibbs one.
There we go.
Yeah, I did it. Don't worry. I was just saying, George, that Kieran Gibbs gave the ref a decision to make, regardless of whether it's a red card or not. I do think it was. But he gave the ref a decision to make.
Yeah, but I think it was probably about as clear cut as it comes to me, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, how obvious did he want to make it? And you give the decision, you give the ref a decision like that to make. Then if he chooses the red card, then you've only got yourself to blame. And particularly now with VAR, I mean, what did he think it was going to go unnoticed? I mean,
yeah. Imagine if he punched Hammers.
He did punch Hammers.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yes, he did, yeah.
So,
and there's the first mistake we've made on the move tonight.
well, as usual, it's always Will, isn't it? So,
Sorry, guys.
So just as a thing, the point I wanted to make now that we've recapped the game,
Yeah.
Was Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We heard in the post-match press conference that Calvert-Lewin had been working a lot with Duncan Ferguson, one of the best headers.
Who better?
One of the best headers in the ball.
I won't mess with him.
In Premier League history, and he's a scary bloke.
As Moise Keane found out.
In the dark,
but not just that, but Ancelotti talked a lot about how he said something like, strikers should score with only one touch. That's what he kept saying, and I think, obviously he's been drilling Calvert-Lewin, and also Moise Keane, who we saw over the Carabao Cup games get a lot of chances, and I think he scored two in the last two Carabao Cup rounds, didn't he? Yeah. And I did think at some point, just in between previewing Saturday, Sunday and Monday, if there is one on Monday, I thought we could also just briefly, and I mean very briefly, touch on the Premier League clubs in the Carabao Cup, because there are a couple of talking points. So yeah, obviously Calvert-Lewin has been well drilled. I thought he was instinctive, and I think Southgate has got a massive decision to make in terms of the Euros.
A nice decision.
Absolutely.
To make.
Obviously,
it's a good headache to have.
Yeah,
good headache.
For me, Harry Kane's got to go. For me, Ings has got to go. For me, Calvert-Lewin's got to go. And I'd include Abraham as well, but it depends how much game time he gets this year.
Not quite sure on Abraham.
Because we did see Abraham score as well in midweek. Well, yesterday, but still in midweek. Everton, do we still think they're the real deal, boys?
Yes, I think. Oh, sorry, Sam, you go first.
Top six contenders for me, definitely.
I agree.
Yep, I have to agree with that. They've shown the way their midfield is, Doucouré and James Rodriguez, that to me, their midfield is really great. And with a top manager who's won pretty much everything, particularly. I mean...
well, they were reading out his CV and there are a couple of clubs that he's been at that I've forgotten about. Like he was at PSG when David Beckham was there that last season, isn't it? Like he's been everywhere and won everything. You know, we're talking about Inter Milan, AC Milan,
Bayern Munich,
Bayern Munich, Real Madrid,
Chelsea,
Paris Saint-Germain. You know.
Yeah.
He's been, he's done it all, and to me, there's no better manager to carry Everton forward with what looks like a very solid squad. You know, we've seen the likes of Young, Anthony Gordon, and
yep.
It's Anthony. It's a commentator's nightmare.
I said Anthony, didn't I?
It's called Anthony.
It's Anthony.
Yeah, it's a commentator's name.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's
spelled Anthony, but it's pronounced Anthony.
Oh, okay. One thing I want to add, boys, obviously, is that Ancelotti knows the league, of course, because of course he managed Chelsea, so that helps as well.
Well, I think that's a bit of a different one, but that's a bit. I don't know if that's much of a point. Obviously, he knows the teams and stuff, but the Premier League has changed so much from.
Yes, that is right, actually.
At one point, go on, George, carry on.
No, that was it. That was all I was going to say.
The one point I would like to make is we talk about, signings, and Chelsea have made all their signings and made, they call it the galaxy of stars that Chelsea have brought.
You said that the other week.
He must love that.
But the one thing I would say that I did touch on as well last week, but I'll briefly mention it as we're on Everton, is that they've got a brilliant blend in midfield. They've got the perfect defensive midfielder and start to knit the passes forward in Allen. They've got Decore, who can run box to box, and they've both got legs on them. They've got the skill of Rodriguez, but I think one player that will really benefit in that Everton team is Andre Gomez, because Andre Gomez, there's no questioning. Barcelona came out and said he had the ability to play in Barcelona's first 11. They said the difficulty with him was he couldn't run, so he was unable to run box to box, and last season you saw with Davis that if he lost the ball, he was having to run back, and he can't obviously run very much. But now he's got Decore and Allen that can do that job for him, and he can just focus on being the playmaker and Rodriguez and playing the ball forward. So I think you talk about shrewd signings. I think they've strengthened where they needed to strengthen and got players in behind, in around Andre Gomez that can do the running for him, and he can just concentrate on what he's good at.
And I think before we move on, something else that I want to mention that maybe others might not pick up on, the return to form of Michael Keane is key for Everton as well.
I've never really rated him, to be honest.
A truly solid centre back who has regained his place for England as well.
Since lockdown.
Yeah.
So I thought he played well after lockdown as well, and he's carried that on. But apparently he had depression, I believe.
Yeah, that's literally what I was just about to say. Talked a lot about his personal struggles, which I respect a lot.
That probably affects his football as well.
Okay, that's fair enough then.
As a person who has had issues like that, I respect that massively, that he's come out and said that, and he really is a top class centre half who has all the right tools to go all the way in the game, whether you rate him or not. To me, I think he's top draw, and I think Everton do look the business. Just before, very quickly, because I'm just watching the time and we've talked away a little bit.
Oops.
So just before we move on, encouraging signs for West Brom, I thought.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
they're gonna be defensively solid. Whether they'll score enough, I know they conceded 5, but the way they play, I think if you can defend well in the Premier League, then you've always got a chance. And
Well, I think
you know,
Sheffield United, the main advocates of that. Over
if
the
you
years.
gave me a choice, in the Premier League of being able to defend strong or score lots of goals and go down either way, I'd take the defence first because
Yeah,
if you can,
because
if you can
every other team can score 2. But
Yes.
what's most important is keeping them out.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it is when you're at the bottom. The teams with the good foundation. We had it at Sale when I played again in my football. We were the lowest scorers in the Premiership 3 years in a row, but we survived because we had about the mid-table in defence, which meant that we'd grind out a lot of 0-0 and 1-0 victories, and they were very hard to break down if we did score.
Yes.
So when you're at this level, you've got to be able to defend before you can attack. Obviously, you need to score a few goals, but you'll, as we saw with Fulham a few years ago, they could bear enough goals in them to stay up, but the amount they conceded was a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
100%. And that's actually a great segue into the next match. Another 7-goal thriller between Fulham and Leeds.
Another great game.
What's going on with Leeds? I mean, they love their 4-3s, don't they?
It's very difficult. Well, it's very easy. Sorry, to talk about the way they set up because they've got an obvious style to me, which is just try and outscore opponents, which is great. But what I was trying to say when I was saying it's difficult to keep the balance. So I think it is why they will lose. The way they play is going to win them a few games, but it's also going to lose them quite a few.
Yeah,
as we saw, they were quite vulnerable at the back because they were playing quite high up. And I think there are a lot of players in that team that have never played top level football, and that's always going to show. Whereas Fulham,
if they don't tighten up, they could. I mean, I know Leeds play wonderful football, and they have enough character about them to play some wonderful football. But I could still see if they don't tighten up at the back, I could see Leeds still being in trouble because if they can't concede 3 goals every game. I'm not saying they will, but if they carry on with that sort of ratio, they're going to be down there, I think. Because against the better teams, they won't be able to come back every time and win a game having conceded 3 goals.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. Sorry, I'll just interrupt you again. I think it's interesting because. The first game of the season against Liverpool clearly aren't at it yet. And I don't think they played that well against Chelsea either.
No.
As a whole, I think the individual error by Kepa and a good penalty save by Alisson is all that stopped them from dropping points already. So I think that result is what it is, and also with Fulham, they're still getting used to the league again as well. So I could see against a team that's more defensively resolute, say like a Brighton that have good defensive players like Lamptey and Ben White and Lewis Dunk. It is a very big chance that Leeds could be in trouble. I personally think they've got just about enough.
I agree, but they could get sucked into it if they're not careful.
Yep, I'd agree with all those points.
And I agree with what Jordan said that just quickly, that the big teams like Liverpool, or the bigger teams like Liverpool, and okay, they did well against Fulham, but the bigger teams will push on, because they've got the players to push forward, which leaves gaps in behind where you won't get Burnley coughing up 4 goals. Leeds, if Leeds have to score 4 goals to beat Burnley, they won't do it. Burnley will beat them every time because they're defensively solid. And the bigger team push on. You see it with Jamie Vardy. The reason he's got such a good record against the Big Six is because they leave gaps in behind and he exploits them. And that's what I'll happen with Leeds. They'll do well against the bigger teams, but question marks when they come up against the Palaces of this world.
Key man for Leeds, I think, Helder Costa is brilliant.
He started well.
He has started well.
I didn't rate him at Wolves, but he started really, really well. What's happened there?
I think obviously, if you watch CFL on Quest, as I do, you're well aware of the quality that they were getting as well. And Fulham have a Wolves man of their own, a former Wolves man with a lot of talent as well in Calviero, and I'm sure we'll see a lot from him as well. I think Wolves, obviously, they've got such great talent on the flanks that they couldn't keep Helder Costa or Calviero, but they'll both have good seasons. I think for Fulham, we talked a lot last week about how well the game plan worked. I feel like this week they played completely different to what they did last week.
Yes.
They played into Leeds' hands this week, I think.
I don't know. I'd like to think that, yes, they did, and there was space, but also Leeds did the same to Fulham, and I think it's only,
It's like basketball, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a bit of a strange one. But I like what I see from both teams, and it's early days, but those early 6-pointers, you've got to be picking the points up, and considering Fulham definitely have more Premier League experience, you would think that Scott Parker would be quite disappointed by that result.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Just quickly, lads. Liverpool are 2-0 up against Luton. 2 great goals. Luton are playing really well.
Lincoln, mate. Luton played United.
Sorry, Lincoln. Why did I say Luton? Lincoln. Millamino. Oh, chance. Millamino scored and Shaqiri scored.
Right.
One from a free kick and one from long range.
And Tottenham are also 1-0 up against a team I can't pronounce in the
Joe
Europa
Hart's
League.
Joe Hart's in goal, isn't he?
Oh dear.
And Dele Alli got a start. Dele Alli's.
Oh yeah. So
who scored?
It was Lamella in the 9th minute and Heung-min Son.
I get the feeling that I think we'll talk about Tottenham in a bit, but I get the feeling that the Dele Alli PSG rumours aren't going to happen. I don't think he's going to go.
Dele Alli to PSG, that'd be funny.
Also, I think we'll talk about Villa because they got a great result, which
yes.
we'll talk about later on, but they're also 2-0 up. Bertrand Traore, the ex-Chelsea boy, scored a wonder goal apparently.
Yep.
I've not seen it, but yeah. The next game then was United, wasn't it?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
No, wasn't it? Was it? Oh yeah, maybe.
5:30.
Yeah. Sorry.
So
yes.
Me and Will talked about that. So tell you what, I think we're going to leave this one to you, Sam.
Yes.
Well, where to begin really? Palace were sharper, quicker, faster, all over the park. If you didn't see the game and don't know the result, the game was 3-1 to Palace. Yeah, and we were just all over the place. I understand we haven't had a proper pre-season, but Palace is pressing. I mean, now that they've got a better forward line, as in not better, but more options.
Yes.
They look like they're not just relying on the counter attack. They really control the game and press United from the back. And we cough the ball up a lot. I think that the players look well off it for United, and Palace deserved it. The only slight tinge of disappointment I had, not that we deserved anything out of the game, was the penalty that David De Gea saved, and it was only half an inch off the line. I mean, how pedantic have we got that? Yes, okay, they have to have 1 foot on the line, but we're really going to start to get our measuring tapes out.
This is where me and you will clash, right? Because I know that you're like that, but I'm a big advocate of technology. To me, there are so many times where managers say, "Oh, this should have happened," or "This should have happened," and VAR stops that.
It slows the game down, though.
VAR but it means, especially this season where referees are much more willing to go to the monitor and have conversations with the actual VAR that's in there, means that we're pretty much going to get 9 times out of 10 a perfect game for decision making. There's still going to be stuff that the referee on the field and the VAR, the video system referee, of course, are going to get wrong. And in turns, I imagine there's going to be stuff that the linesmen are going to get wrong. But having said that, I know that offsides are being looked at. Every single offside is being. So who knows? But I imagine there will still be mistakes. For me, a player of De Gea's quality, experience, blah blah blah, should not be making that kind of.
It was mistake. Half an inch.
But
it's not like the
game. But in the same respect, I don't think that it's a penalty. I don't think the Lindelof penalty is a penalty in the first place.
No.
His arm was by his side. He was in his running action.
I know that the letter of the law is that if the hand strikes the ball, or the ball strikes the hand, intentional or otherwise, it's a penalty. But there's no way.
No, it's not. No. That's not the rule. The rule is not that, is it? It's that if his arm goes towards the ball and is in an unnatural position, it's a penalty. But what's he meant to do? But if it strikes your arm,
I don't think that's true because
unless it leads to a goal,
Lindelof is moving. Lindelof is moving away from the ball. But the way that I have understood the rule, and this is one of the problems with football at the minute, with rules changing in VAR, is that people are reading rules different ways. But to me, he's moving away from the ball. It's too close for him to move his hand away, unless he's some sort of superhero.
Chop his arm off?
Yeah. So to me, there's no way that it's a penalty. But what I interpreted the letter of the law this year to be, that whether it strikes the ball intentional or not, or to do with play or not, it is a penalty every time. That's what I've seen.
No. Because the ball hitting the hand has never, ever been a penalty unless it's intentional. The only thing that changed last season was that if a ball struck the defender's arm while the team was attacking, you couldn't score with your arm, is what I'm saying, whether it was intentional or not. But defensively, I thought it was geared up to help the defender. That So say the ball hit the attacker's hand and it went in, then they'd rule it out. But if it was intentionally or unintentionally, but if the ball hit the defender's hand, but it was in a natural position, it wasn't a penalty. No? Is that wrong?
See, I thought the same thing, but there's no way that can be true if VAR has gone to it and said, yeah, that is a penalty. There's no way.
There's something about the sleeve now. I mean, there was one the other night, was it with Wolves and City? I can't remember. There was another one just after that, in another game, and it was very similar, and I didn't think it was a handball, and the ref didn't give it as a handball. So how can you have one rule for one player and one rule for another? It's ridiculous. I mean,
in the interest of trying to move on, because again we aren't time constricted, but we try to keep it to a certain time.
Yeah.
What I had seen is that if the ball strikes the hand, intentional or otherwise, as long as it's below the armpit, then it's a penalty.
Isn't there something to do with the sleeve? There's something about a sleeve now, but I'm not sure what it is.
So within the letter of the law, it is a penalty. But I think that's incredibly harsh, because how the hell is he supposed to move his arm out of the way? That being said, me and Will talked about it a lot. We talked about the questions being asked of United. We've done it, twice this week now. I imagine we're going to do the same on Saturday morning when we preview the Brighton game.
Yep. I do not want Lindelof, though, to be in the United shirt for first choice.
Who would you have then? Who would you have? Bailly?
Well, yes, I would give Bailly and Maguire a chance to try solidify their partnership. And, Solskjaer's been saying Bailly's been looking good in training and stuff and looking definitely fit. So, for that reason, sorry. Lindelof is always... Oh, sorry, Sam.
I was just going to say, regardless of the penalty claim, I think if you are a Crystal Palace fan listening to this, I'm taking nothing away from Palace.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
You deserve to win the game.
Absolutely, I have to agree with that.
I'm not saying that I don't want that penalty, whether it was or wasn't, to take away from what Palace did.
No, because they were brilliant.
No,
go on, Will. Carry on.
Great achievement.
Yes, well, yeah, Palace definitely deserved it. Not a player on that pitch. There was not one player for Palace who I thought was not great, because I thought they were all great. And even Eze coming off the bench, you could tell he was making an impact.
Yeah, and what was that you said about Eric Bailly?
Victor Lindelof. The thing is with Lindelof, I've always felt I feel really nervous whenever he's playing, because Lindelof is not great in the air, and as a central defender, you do have to be good at the air, obviously, winning headers. But Lindelof has never filled me with confidence, ever. And it's time for him to step aside. He was at fault for all 3 goals, so it's time for him to step aside finally and have Bailly.
I think that's harsh. If we're saying it's not a penalty, how can he be at fault for it?
No, but it's not just that.
Yeah,
enough is enough. He's got to step aside.
With that. I think you've said something that kind of completely... I don't know.
Contradicts what you were
saying. It kind of contradicts.
Oh, sorry.
That being said, Palace played brilliantly. United second best good for Van der Beek to get the goal, but
Yes.
Yes, that was the one positive. I thought he played quite well when he came
Yes,
on
yeah.
to-
He made an impact, didn't he? I mean, not just with the goal, but you could tell that he was making
He was
an
the
impact.
one good player. He was the one player that I thought, not just because of his goal, but deserved a bit of credit. All
Yeah.
3-0.
you know that much being said, you know, United still a lot of questions, and
Yes, we need to bring in a central defender in immediately. We can't
I think
have
they
Lindelof.
are 100% gonna struggle against Brighton.
Brighton are playing great football. I think Brighton will lit the floor with us.
Yeah, I can't.
They probably won't score a ton of goals because they're not very clinical. But I certainly think they'll outplay us on the park.
I can't wait to
they'll-
talk about Brighton when we get to Sunday's games.
3-0, by the way. Curtis Jones has scored another worldie. They've all been good goals.
Oh right.
After half an hour.
Right,
Anderson.
you ready to move on then?
Yeah, Arsenal versus West Ham. I wasn't impressed by Arsenal.
West Ham looked a lot better. They play with that attitude, they'll be alright.
It was a very tight game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Saved
West
by,
Ham should have won it. West Ham
saved
should have
by-
won it.
saved by Eddie Nketiah, and who I like, by the way, and I think is another one like Calvert-Lewin could go all the way to the top.
Yes.
I don't know a lot about him yet. I mean, I do, but I'm not seen
He's
enough
still
of
quite
it.
young, isn't he, I think? And
The
raw.
judgment's still out for me, but I'll reserve judgment till I see more of him.
Yeah, but obviously Gabriel played again, and you know he made a very, very good block, didn't he? And you know, we talk about teams strengthening. The main thing for Arsenal to strengthen was their defence, because that's the one problem. Goals haven't been the problem for Arsenal. They've got Lacazette, they've got Aubameyang. But it's the defence that has always let them down, and they've struggled. But now
And
they've
the
got...
midfield.
Well, yes.
I always had good technical players over the last few years, but they've all been a bit too alike. They've never really filled the void of Patrick Vieira, really.
The great Patrick Vieira.
Not that you can compare, but you look at Everton buying Abdoulaye Doucouré, and when
Oh,
Kante
yeah.
had the opportunity, when Kante had the opportunity to go to Arsenal, and Arsenal said they didn't want him, and they're crying out for that holding midfielder.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
it's what's
they're obviously trying to go on. They're trying to hopefully get Torreira off, and Partey, and the Lyon midfielder who I can never pronounce the name of.
Aouar.
Houssem. Yeah, that's it. Can never pronounce his name, but they're trying to get both of them, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see whether they'll get them done.
Yeah, no, I think there's still a lot to be happy about for Arsenal, and West
Yes.
Ham played better, and like we're going to talk about. You know, we're going to talk about West Ham, and again, you know, they played well in midweek, so
Yeah.
you know, we'll get there with
West
them,
Ham
and I
are
think there's a
too
lot to be happy about.
inconsistent. West Ham are too inconsistent for me. Not with the results, because they're always going to probably be down there at the minute. All due respect to West Ham fans, but with the performances, you know,
Yes.
they played really, really well. Curtis Jones has scored again. Sorry.
Wow.
They played really, really well. You know, against the bigger teams that might not get a result but play well, and then the next week they don't put a performance in. They're very up and down in the performances, aren't they, West Ham?
Yes.
At least with somebody like, they seem to lack identity for me. You know, if you play for Burnley, you're going to get an 8 out of 10 from those players every week, no matter who they're up against. Now, they might not be good enough to win against the likes of City and stuff normally,
Yeah.
but you're always going you know what you're going to get. They always have solid performances. Where West Ham seem to either give 7 or 8 out of 10 or 2 out of 10. You know, so they're not consistent enough.
No, I'd agree with
I feel
that.
like it's quite difficult because we do seem to be sort of dredging over the same stuff, but you know, a lot of teams with 2 games in have definitely caused more questions to be asked than answered questions.
Yes.
So I think it's kind of unavoidable. West Ham, I completely agree. I can't help but feel like Dean Garner playing well for West Brom the other week.
That would that's a stab in the back for them, isn't it?
Be a bitter pill to swallow. I think we've seen some encouraging signs from West Ham, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, like I said with you, I think it was with you, George. You know, they've got a tough couple of fixtures, haven't they? Tottenham, Leicester. You know, some really tough fixtures.
Especially with now's as good a time as any. David Moyes, Issa Diop, and Josh Cullen testing positive for COVID-19.
Did they? Well, I didn't know
midweek. In midweek, they got to Hull. They did test before the game.
Oh,
and
okay,
then David
right.
Moyes, Issa Diop, and Josh Cullen all got tested positive and then had to go home.
I didn't know that. I mean,
So,
just
George, was it right before the game, or was that just when it was announced? Because I'm not
I
sure.
think it was about 45 minutes before the game, right?
Oh
I
my!
know that just while we're on COVID, I know that.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Are you about to talk about him?
No, I know that two. I think it's 2 games from League One and League Two have been cancelled this weekend because too many players have tested positive for COVID in those teams. I'm not sure which teams they are, but I just saw.
Leyton Orient had 10 players test positive, didn't they? That's why their game against Spurs got.
There's probably Orient and somebody else are not playing this weekend because the players have tested positive for coronavirus. So it's a bit worrying for the league, not just for the league, but for football and society in general, and especially with fans looking at coming back. I think that's been set back, hasn't it? The pilot events now with
it's not happening until at least March.
What, they're not having any more pilot events till March?
Apparently
Probably,
not.
yes.
If it carries on like this, apparently so. So I think, to me, that's just a way to scaremonger people into doing what they need to do. But
Well, no, I think that's been very realistic. I think
it's a conversation for a different kind
yes,
of show.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we don't
politically charged.
Yes.
No,
Anyway.
I just thought it's worth. We are everybody tasked with bringing you all the football news from all the leagues. So whether it's good or bad, we will provide it here on Football Central.
There we go.
Very
Hit
good.
the nail on the head there, Sam.
Anyway, because we are on a time constraint, something that we're moving into Sunday's game. The first game on Sunday was Tottenham and Southampton, and something I wanted to talk about with Sam, because I know that you're a bit further along in the Tottenham documentary than probably Will is. What's your insight to Tottenham's management? Just very quickly before we get on to the actual game.
You mean the Tottenham's management as in Mourinho and that, or the hierarchy above him?
I imagine
I
Daniel
think-
Levy probably you're
No,
talking about, aren't you?
I think we're just talking about Mourinho. You know,
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
saying, you said to me yesterday, Sam, that your opinion on Daniel Levy had changed. I agree and
My
disagree in the
opinion
same
had changed as well.
vein. I agree and disagree in the same vein. But yeah, I just want to know what you think about Mourinho's management style behind the scenes, because we did get we got a really in-depth look in the documentary. You know, I'm only halfway through. I'm literally past just.
I've got to watch episode 3 and 4.
No, I'm just past the
Oh,
one where
Will's
they've.
ahead of me. Will's ahead of me, so it might be better because I didn't get to watch it last night. So it might be better to ask Will that question.
Well-
I'm just past the one where they've just finished the January transfer window and they brought in Gedson Fernandez and they brought in Bergwijn, and there was conversations between Ericsson and Daniel Levy, and Danny Rose and Jose Mourinho had a very frank conversation. And
Oh yeah, can't wait to get into that.
I just wanted to know generally what you thought of Mourinho's management from what you've seen, both of you.
From what? Yeah, so I'm gonna let Will go first because he's seen more of the documentary than I have. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, obviously, I've said on here prior to watching the documentary that Mourinho, well, a lot of people have said that Mourinho's behind the times. You know, obviously when he came to Chelsea in 2004, I mean, what's that appointment that proved to be? And again, when he came back in 2013, was it? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think that Mourinho, really, his style of football, it's for me, when you have your Klopp and your Guardiolas and your Lampards and Artetas, well, not so much Lampard and Arteta because obviously they're the most recent, but you think of Guardiola and Klopp, these young coaches. And to me, I've always thought that Mourinho would be doing a great job with many teams if Guardiola or Klopp weren't there. But now, because football's changed, Mourinho's a stubborn man. He's not changing his tactics, is he? He's not going with the times. He's getting left behind. And I think he's finished. To be honest, I think Mourinho, it would be good for him, if it doesn't work out for Tottenham, go in the Championship, see if for a new challenge if you can rescue
There's
a
no
club.
way, Joe.
Alright, okay, I'm
Sorry.
going a minute. Could you
There's no
imagine?
way Jose Mourinho's gonna go into the Champions.
Well, can you see him getting more jobs in England if he fails at Tottenham?
Yes, because
Who's he gonna manage?
he's a
Who's he gonna
serial
manage?
winner.
He's a
Who's he gonna
dinosaur.
manage? Wigan Wanderers.
He's
Yeah,
a
but
dinosaur. He's
yeah,
finished.
But you're wrong because
Past
because
his sell
he's
by
won-
date.
He's won titles everywhere he's gone. He's won things everywhere he's gone. What was it? Champions League with Porto.
Yeah, but
You know,
You know,
hang on, 2 Premier Leagues with Chelsea. an
yes,
FA
that is
Cup,
correct.
A League Cup.
the La Liga title with
the
Real
treble
Madrid.
with Inter Milan, which has never ever been done, not even by Juventus. La Liga with Real Madrid, the Europa League with United. He's a winner. He's a winner, and you can't ignore that.
Can I just back up both your points? So it's not often on this show that I sit on the fence, but I am going to today. I'm going to give 2 points. The first point is to Will. So hang on. No, the first point I'm going to make is to Jordan's point that Mourinho is a serial winner, and like Ancelotti, he's won things wherever he's been. Whether that be United, Porto, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, United, so there's no doubt that the guy is a winner. However, So I agree on that front. However, with Will's point, I also agree that I'm not saying he's past it, Jose Mourinho, because you never write off a serial winner in any sport, in any walk of life. However, I do think he is a very stubborn man. You look at Alex Ferguson, Pep Guardiola. Well, maybe not quite Guardiola, but Alex Ferguson, Sir Matt Busby, people like that who won things over a big period of time. And there's no doubt that whilst they were in management, football changed. All right,
Yes.
It might not be the game we have now, but it changed in their time, and they were able to adapt with it. And I do think there's question marks whether Mourinho, not whether he's capable to adapt, because he's an intelligent man and he knows his football inside out. He could adapt if he wanted to, but will he? And
No.
if he doesn't adapt, does that mean that he's past his best? I'm not
Yes.
so past his best, but I think he will get left behind if he doesn't adapt. I don't know what Jordan's view on this is. Now, obviously, he has won cups, Jordan, and things at United and things, but I believe that if he can't play more of a modern style, I'm not saying lose everything that is about, but I believe if he can't play a more modern style, then he will get left behind a bit, no matter how good a manager he is, and there's no doubt he's one of the best ever. But there's a famous quote that failing is not failure, but failing to change might be. And I'm not sure Mourinho will change. And
No.
maybe Jordan will come on now and say, well, he's won trophies everywhere, which I agree with. And
He
it's
did,
a
yes.
fact. And that he doesn't need to change. But in my opinion, with the way the game's going, if he wants to win the top honours, I'm not saying that's necessarily Spurs because of the way Spurs are structured with the money and the finances. But if he wants to get back to the very top, do you think, George, because I know what you're going to say, Will, you think he's finished, but
Yes.
do you think that he does have to change in the long run if he wants continued success? Does he have to adapt?
Yes.
I think ultimately, I mean, you look at Jose Mourinho, and everywhere he went, he had different players. You know, he had the complete gap in class between the players he had at Porto and then the players he had at Chelsea, and then the players he had at Inter Milan again were different, and Real Madrid, and then to go from Real Madrid back to Chelsea when the league was different and the team definitely didn't have all the big stars that it used to, and then United again and Tottenham the same. I think that the Jose Mourinho style of play, to be successful, you have to have world-class players everywhere in the pitch.
Yes.
And the problem is...
Can it still be successful now, though?
Hang on, I'll get there. I'll get there. Because... you know, think about it, at United, I would say Jose Mourinho has better players now at Tottenham than he did at United. But
agreed.
Yeah.
Also, the Jose Mourinho style in the modern game, the kind of I'm going to tell you how it is approach to football, does not work anymore. To be like that as a manager, to turn around and say, and I don't want to spoil the documentary, but the conversation between Danny Rose and Jose Mourinho is fascinating, because he turns around and he says, and he speaks to Danny Rose about his performances and everything, and I'm thinking, you know, thank God you're telling a senior pro like Danny Rose that. Because if you're telling a young kid or somebody that didn't have experience in the top leagues, they'd be going home crying. I think in some ways to have longevity in the game, to me, I like his man management. I think you can see tactically what he wants to do. You can see that he, for example, if there's players on yellow cards, he will instantly, tell the wide players or the quick players to go at the players with the yellow cards. There's definitely still all the tactical know-how that brought him that success, but I think it's more a personality-wise. Jose Mourinho and his personality has to adapt to the modern Premier League. Otherwise, whether he wins or not, he will eventually always lose the players.
Yes.
That's my opinion. That was very diplomatically answered. I think I could have been more forthright with that, but I was trying to say it.
Can I ask you another question then?
Yeah.
You think that Jose Mourinho, his man management style in this day and age with certain players might not be right, his approach might not be right, but taking approach aside as a manager, because every manager's different, in terms of his philosophy of football now, does he have to tweak that? In terms of on the pitch, and the coaching, forget his man management for a second. In terms of coaching and on the pitch, to compete with the likes of Guardiola, Pochettino when he gets in another job, does he have to not change the way he is, but evolve as a football manager, not necessarily as a person to the players, a man management, but as a football manager,
I think it's so difficult, isn't it? You see for example, I don't class Jose Mourinho as a kind of a new age coach, like a Guardiola, like a Klopp.
No.
I also don't class him as a sort of a classic coach, like a Bielsa, like a Roy Hodgson, somebody like that. I think he's kind of in the middle, and because he's in the middle, he's got this very kind of weird thing where, there are a lot of questions about whether he needs to adapt. Tactically, I think he's talking about things, and the way he goes about things would win titles with bigger and better players, and will always have this kind of thing where he will always demand the best. But I think in some respects, where he is with Tottenham, to demand them to be challenging for the league or challenging for the Champions League, that's a club with a lot of issues outside of what goes on the pitch, and I think that goes
I'm not saying that's what he has to do. Challenge for titles, challenge for.
No, whatever. I'm saying that's the thing is, Daniel Levy makes that very clear. Is he playing the right style?
For instance, Tottenham had a manager like Pochettino who was very on the front foot, very modern.
Yes.
In the Klopp, I know he's not won anything, so to compare him to serial winners is difficult, but in the way he played.
I get what you mean.
To Klopp and Guardiola.
I know exactly what you're going to say, and all I'm going to say in response to that is Southampton played with a high line, and they exposed it at every single opportunity. So tactically, there's nothing wrong with the way that he can expose a team and their weaknesses. However, I do think that there are better tactical managers than him in the league, and that's the problem. So he is a phenomenal tactical coach. But when you've got managers like Klopp, like Guardiola, and then players like like Arteta, who is basically a mini Guardiola plus all the wisdom of
Wenger,
and then a Lampard who learned all the best things off Jose Mourinho, but then also the likes of Claudio Ranieri, Avram Glan, Luis Felipe Scolari, Villas-Boas, Ancelotti himself, Di Matteo,
Villani. I don't know if I pronounced his name. Italian guy.
Vialli, he didn't play for Vialli, or maybe he did. Maybe the first
No,
season
no,
he did.
no, no. I'm on about the former Chelsea player who became manager.
Yeah,
he
he
was
didn't
ill
play
recently.
under him. I don't think he played under him. I'm pretty sure he didn't.
Did he not? Oh, right.
But what I would say is very interesting, George, is that, you know, Roy Hodgson's successful in his own right, but he's sort of at a level that is not quite, you know, obviously as a top coach, he's managed England, he's managed Liverpool, whatever, but he's not quite obviously in the Mourinho league, so he can afford with a team like Palace to play, if you like, somewhere how Mourinho plays, but will get away with it because he's at a level where it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, there's less pressure.
How you play. Not that there's less pressure, but it's difficult for me to understand, to explain. He's at a level where
the expectation
you know,
isn't there. That's what you mean.
No, that's not what I mean. Where he's going to be solid anyway. Where when you're competing at the top end against top end managers, the finer details make a difference more than they do when you're a Palace or whatever.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing there that Roy Hodgson not changing his style doesn't really matter. That's because he's still at a level of coaching where he can get through that, whatever the style. But I find it very interesting, and I agree, and I didn't think about this, George, about what you said about Mourinho being stuck between two eras. And he sort of is. He isn't in the old era like, I'm not saying, you know, like Hodgson, you know,
We've got a comment, boys.
Oh yeah, what's the comment?
Colin Merritt says, "Good evening," smiley face. Good evening, Colin Merritt.
Good evening.
Good to see you back,
Colin.
obviously.
Hope you're enjoying the show, Colin. And
please contribute.
If you want to add anything to this, Colin, then feel free to do so.
Absolutely.
So just on Mourinho, last point now is that it is interesting that you say he's got stuck between eras because he's not an old coach, but he's not one of these new coaches. So could it mean that Mourinho, yes, his identity, he's built up his identity, but is he in the middle of a bit of an identity crisis?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, because he's stuck between that situation where there's the older managers that have definitely stuck to what they know, whereas the newer managers do mess about with tactics a lot. So it's
evolve with the times, yeah.
So it's the question of, does Jose Mourinho stick or twist? And to me, he's got to make that decision.
Yeah.
And do you think if he sticks, that's going to be enough?
I certainly don't think so.
I think if he sticks, it would be interesting to see how much longer he stays at the top level. But if he does stay at the top level, when he sticks to his tactic, if he sticks to the way he wants to play, his identity, and he still pulls it off, then I'm happy to eat humble pie. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Either way, very quickly going over the game, because again we've got sidetracked a little. Southampton are a very good side, good team. We've said it, but they did play. Sorry, hang on 1 second. My AirPods have just died. Let me just put the chat on to my phone. Southampton did play high line and they got caught out at every single opportunity. Heung-min Son is just an absolute machine.
He's as important as Harry Kane.
Yeah,
Yes.
Harry Kane assisting all of Son's goals and then scoring his own.
Yeah, that was
It's-
amazing. I
it's
thought.
remarkable. The problem for me with Tottenham, and I think Jose Mourinho probably this thought has crossed his mind, that Tottenham have a side good enough to do everything they're asked to do, to win a trophy like the FA Cup or something like that, or to challenge for the top four or even for the title, and yet somehow, even under a newer age manager like Pochettino, they still don't do it. They still miss the mark.
They've not got the depth.
No.
Oh my gosh. Minamino's just scored right from kickoff.
So that's what is that? 5-0 to Liverpool then.
Yeah, Lincoln hasn't touched the ball yet, and it literally just kicked off, and the keeper's come out, and oh no, they did touch the ball, but pretty much straight from kickoff. The keeper's come out and left a hole there. He needed to get the ball. He got the ball, but the ball dropped to Minamino, who just popped it in the back of the net. So
Game
yeah,
over
5-0.
then.
Well, not if Reading and what was that brilliant League Cup game a few years ago? Reading and Arsenal. Do you remember that?
It's 5-0, Sam. You think they're gonna come back from that?
No, I'm just saying. I'm only joking.
Oh,
Always the
okay.
optimists. We have optimists on this. You've got to say that for the Lincoln fans, you've still got about 50 minutes plus if you take injury time into consideration.
Okay, fair enough then, but it's
goals.
unlikely.
Yeah, very unlikely.
Right, I just need to eat because my tea's just come.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna stay here and contribute, but I'm just gonna be a little bit quiet.
Yeah, that's fine.
What I want to say is
Go on.
that we've seen what to me was a perfect game from Tottenham, and what do we think for their chances?
Of top four.
Oh, it's gonna be a struggle, I
If
think.
top four is what Daniel Levy wants, which it apparently is, do we think they can get it? Because I don't think so.
No.
They can get it. They can, because the squad's proven they can. Will they get it? No.
It's
probably
gonna
not.
be a huge battle. I don't think so, no.
However, the return of Gareth Bale and Reguilon might inspire them, and yeah, they're certainly capable, but I don't think they will.
You wait until Bale gets on the pitch and then gets injured, and then he's off.
And he wonders why his subscribers don't go.
Oh dear.
Sorry, I'm not gonna go to the whole Gareth Bale thing.
Whoa!
You alright, George? What
Sorry,
have you
Will.
seen?
Not wrong.
Okay.
Anyway, right, ready to move on?
Brighton and
Who did they
Newcastle.
play? Oh, it's escaped me.
It is Brighton and Newcastle next, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, I've got some things I want to say about Lamptey and Morpay and Connolly, but I'll let you guys.
I love Lamptey.
Because I need to.
Lamptey's my favourite player in the world right now.
He's world class, isn't he?
He's my favourite player. I just don't see a weakness. Actually, as far as males go, and I'll say this on air in public, falling in love with Tyrant Lamptey.
Oh my God.
Carry on, George.
£4 million he cost, you know.
It'll cost about 40 million the way it's going.
Like I said, I'm leaving this one to you boys for a bit because I need to eat. So.
Okay.
Go on, Will, your opinion on the upgraded Reece James?
Yeah. For me, Reece James. Obviously his versatility.
No, I'm on a...
Oh, sorry. Is there another Reece James?
I was on about Lamptey. I was saying...
Oh!
I was on about Lamptey, saying that Lamptey's the best.
Sorry,
God, sorry.
Lamptey, yes, he's certainly proven to be certainly a good young player. But of course, he still is quite young, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of things still for him to learn. But not just Lamptey, Brighton, the Graham Potter, who I think is was a fantastic appointment for them, and I think that that will be a very good appointment that will continue to do well with them. I think obviously Neil Maupay, you get quite a lot of goals from him, and then you've got Connolly, who was scored last game, who's scored quite a few recently, and I think towards the tail end of last season. Forgive me if that's not. I think, Brighton have got lots of really good players, and of course you've also got. Is Glenn Murray still there, or is he left?
He's on loan at Watford, isn't he? Is it Watford?
I'm sometimes it's quite hard to keep track of whether players are there, especially if they're not playing. Oh, he's on loan at Watford. Okay, never mind then. But obviously,
this is why you need to watch the Championship.
Oh well, yeah, but it often does clash with the Premier League. It does.
No, it doesn't. It's on at 9 o'clock.
In the morning, or?
In the evening.
Oh. Anyway. But yeah, I think Brighton. I think Brighton will be safe. I don't think they'll go down, and they've got a really good squad and a good manager, so I think they'll be fine. I do.
Mid-table.
Sam, have you got anything to add?
Yeah, well, I think that just on Tyrant Lamptey, I mean, the guys that got the full package for me. He can defend, he can attack. And I don't know if anybody saw his last-ditch tackle he made against Newcastle on Sunday. With his wrong foot, with his left foot. Amazing challenge.
I don't know how he did it. How it happened?
At that speed as well, because he would have been sent off because he was last man if he'd have got it wrong. And being what I'd call, even though I'm a winger, I'm more of a defensive full-back myself in the game. Obviously, a wing-back. I love a good challenge. In fact, I get more excited over a punching tackle than I do over a goal. which probably just shows that my mindset as a player. But I think. Sorry.
I said, yeah, you're a fucking lunatic.
I'm not saying not saying that that's how I view football. Defensively,
On the
my
pitch,
team
on
would
the
be
pitch,
very
it's a
attacking.
nightmare.
But I just love a crunching tackle. I love it. You don't see enough of them in the game anymore.
Because it's playing that
Anyway,
way.
and that's beside the point.
Oh, yeah, I bet it.
Brighton played some wonderful football. Graham Potter, you talk about the job Marcelo Bielsa's done at Leeds, and I know comparing Marcelo Bielsa with Graham Potter might be a bit mad because Marcelo Bielsa is well further on in his career as a manager, but the jobs have been quite similar. Like, they completely transformed the players they had there. You look at how many players Potter's kept, like the likes of Dale Stevens and Matt Ryan and Duncan.
Dale Stevens has gone to Burnley.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Well, he hasn't
Yeah,
gone yet.
but like Solly, right? But like Solly March and players like that, he's kept a lot of them, and he's completely changed the style of play and did it within a pre-season, which I thought was very impressive. And I think he's brought the best out of players that I thought could only play one way. Not that it was wrong, because I think Chris Heaton did a great job with Brighton. Take nothing away from him, but the way they've knocked the ball around now, and how many players are there that were there under Chris Heaton, and the change in the way they're playing in terms of style is amazing. And it's a bit like Marcelo Bielsa with Leeds in that respect, and the way that he's been able to get players to play a completely different way, and keep a lot of the same players and get them to believe that they're good enough and get them to play the way he wants without having to make too many signings. With regards to Brighton, I would go as far to say, in terms of the football they play, they're a top 8 side. The only thing that says to me they won't finish, the only thing that says to me they might not finish in the top 8 or 10 is just that they don't score enough goals. Certainly in their open play, they play like a top 10, top 8 side. But I just think they probably don't score enough. But in terms of the way they play, I love it. I think Graham Potter's done brilliantly. Earned his trade at Ottersunds. And
Swansea.
Obviously didn't do a lot of Swansea when you think about it, but he was only there for a year.
I disagree. I think he did quite well. Because the Swansea...
No, he did well.
The Swansea,
I'm just saying he did well.
The Swansea that we see now for, under Steve Cooper that have done so well, the basis of that is under the Potter philosophy of bringing through younger players. So,
yeah. What I would say though is he's done great, and if Brighton could get a Danny Ings into their side, I'm not saying they'll sign Danny Ings. There's no way. But if they could get that caliber of goal scorer in there, they'd rocket up the league.
With
alongside
Morpay and Connolly. Connolly's still very young, very raw. But I think, if he continues to coach those two to be a partnership as good as they've been, then I think they're in a good position for the future.
Yeah.
Tour.
Oh, I think they'll be in a good position. I'm just saying, if they had a goal scorer that could get 15 league goals, then they'd rocket up the league because they create loads of chances. But as regards to where they'll finish, Brighton will be easily clear of relegation.
Yeah, they will.
Lower mid-table, and will have had a great season and maybe a cup run. So here's to the Seagulls, Brighton fans. Colin, maybe you're a Brighton fan, so you're still there, Colin.
But for Newcastle, what do you think? So much optimism after the last couple of results, especially the midweek result as well, which will
7-0 against Morecambe.
What happened to? We'll get onto it. Bloody hell! Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Lincoln has scored.
Who
Scored.
Wow. Ooh.
I don't know who he is. He is number 7.
Number 8. That's Jamie Jones that used to play for Crewe, the number 8.
And it's finished full time. Tottenham Hotspur 3. The other team I can't pronounce 1.
Is that Tottenham through to the next qualifying, or is there another leg?
I'm not quite sure.
Is it one-legged or two-legged? Because it's the qualifying round, isn't it?
Oh, hang on. It says they're 1 win away from joining Arsenal, less in the group stage draw.
Alright, so there must be another round then.
Yeah.
Newcastle we were on about.
Yes, sorry.
Eden, I think. Eden scored. Number 7.
Against Morecambe, are you on about?
Right, Newcastle. No, I'm on about Lincoln.
Stay on task, Sam.
No, you asked me who scored, so I'm giving you the...
Oh yeah, now we're at...
Crime.
So what do you think about Newcastle? They were awful, they were dreadful.
I think they were, but Newcastle, don't worry, because I think you're on for a good season. I mean, everybody has bad days at the office. I think Brighton looked just sharper, but I'm sure that 7-0 win in midweek.
Why are we on about that?
Oh, sorry.
Spoilers?
Oh, oops.
The poor fans, they might not know.
Well, Newcastle fans know everything.
Yeah, they like to think they do. Yeah. But definitely,
Right, go on then, Mr. Stick to the plan. You tell us what you think about Newcastle.
Go on then, what?
Mr. I'll stick to the plan and rigid man. You tell us what you think about
Well,
Newcastle.
as the only one here that likes to stick to the plan, I think I'll do that. I think that obviously they played very poor against Brighton, but Brighton have got a lot of pace. They're also a very physical team in defence with the likes of Ben White, who's adapted really well to Premier League football as well, by the way. And Luke Dunk, it's hard to cope with the...
Newcastle are physical. Are you trying to say Newcastle
No, but
are
what
a
I'm
physical
saying is
side?
they've also got pace to go with that, whereas I feel like Newcastle, other than like Sir Maximan, haven't got...
Wilson's great. Wilson's great.
But when you've got like the likes of Lamptey and Ben White's also quite quick, I feel like it's quite hard to get, like, an attacker will always be on the back foot against the defender if they're like moving back towards goal.
The formation was probably wrong.
Yeah.
Newcastle.
The thing is, I really like Steve Bruce, and I think he's done a fantastic job there. But I do not think for 1 minute he's going to keep his job,
No.
and I don't like that.
I didn't catch the end of that, mate. You went out. Say again.
Sorry, I said I don't think I think Steve Bruce has done a good job, but I don't think he's going to keep his job, and I don't like that.
I agree. I think if he didn't keep his job, I think he deserves a chance with. I think. Would you go as far to say as manager, this is the best squad of players Steve Bruce has had in his career to manage overall as a squad?
Yeah, I think it's got the makings of that, definitely.
Has he ever, obviously, there's individual players he's managed that you put in there like Grealish, but in terms of a squad, would you say this is the best squad he's in terms of options he's had as a manager?
That's really hard. That's an interesting question. I don't know. I think, like I said, I think now, he's added quite a few in that are really good players. So potentially, but it's still early days because he has added some good signings in. But it all depends on where they finish. I think ability-wise, they're right up there with some of the teams he's had. Yeah.
Just so you know, it went from 5-1 to 6-1 to Liverpool, and Lincoln have just gone down the other end and scored to make it 6-2.
Wow.
Who scored the second one? See, I'm interested now.
Could we be seeing an unlikely comeback on the cards? Surely not.
I would it somehow.
I don't think so. But Van Dijk's could go.
Yeah, we're on about Newcastle. Sorry, I just wanted to say something about the Maupay and Connolly partnership. I really like that Maupay is like the sort of the clinical finisher, whereas like Connolly is the pacey one. And he's a little.
I'm not sure he's clinical.
He's a little bit raw as well, isn't he, Connolly? And I quite like that in a young player when they're quite raw, and that means that they're willing to take players on. Lamptey again looks like a steal, an absolute steal. At the minute,
he looks like a world beater. He's the best fullback in the league right now.
I would agree that he looks better than Reece James.
On form.
I would agree that he looks better.
Oh, wow.
I do agree with stuff you say. But
carry on.
Yeah, I think Brighton again, from just about hitting that 40-point mark last season. I think another consolidation season would be good for them. Try and see how far they can go and whatever. I think they need a little bit of squad depth, especially at the back. They lost Shane Duffy on loan to Celtic, which if I was him, I wouldn't have gone. But apparently, it's where he's always wanted to go.
Yeah, but they've gained Ben White. He was on loan, so I suppose he thought, well, I'm bringing him back.
Shane Duffy still would have got a fair amount of game time, I believe. So, he maybe wouldn't have got.
Yeah, but he's playing for a bigger team than Brighton. With all due respect to Brighton, Celtic are massive. So,
yeah, reputationally, yeah, and it's an opportunity for a league title for him as well, isn't it? Because I don't know, Celtic haven't had the best start to the Scottish Premier League, but obviously Rangers are top at the minute. But
let's hope it stays that way, ending Celtic's dominance.
Arne Hibernian not there as well?
Yeah, I think it's Rangers, Hibernian, and then Celtic.
Time to end their dominance, I say. I hope.
Do you think it's worth talking about Chelsea, Liverpool?
Yes, I think so.
Because obviously,
Mr. Stay on task. Take it away.
Yeah, we still. Fuck you, Sam. we sort of touched on it. That's the thing. We sort of said about all the central things. You know, Liverpool's first goal was pure brilliance. You know, we know what Mane and Salah and Firmino can do. Everybody knows it, but yet all teams in the league just can't seem to stop it. And that's one, it's about how they're coached, and two, it's about just the sheer quality that they have in that team.
Yeah.
Second goal.
Snap the legs. That's what I'd be saying if I was a player. I'd be saying the one way to stop them, lads. Let's face it, they're too good for us. So let's snap them in half.
You know, second goal doesn't need too much dawdling on.
No.
You know, it's a horrible mistake. Kepa's Chelsea career
is over.
Probably over, or
he's a kipper.
Or
he's a kipper, basically.
If it's not completely over, you know, to me it will be soon. If the Mendy signing does not bring what Chelsea think it will, which is a positive reaction from Kepa, and he doesn't improve, then he will go.
I hope it embarrasses Kepa.
Is he over the line? Is he over the line then? Yeah, I'm still very confused as I think.
Yeah, he's probably going to play tomorrow.
Well, time that is.
I think 100% he will play tomorrow.
Who you playing tomorrow?
West Brom.
They're playing West Brom, are they?
Yeah, West Brom at home.
Ah, right, okay. Well, they should win that then, shouldn't they?
West Brom tomorrow.
Yep.
I can hear an echo in here.
I think they'll win it, but I don't know. No easy games in the Premier League, is there?
No.
No. Stranger things have happened.
Now, Leicester Burnley, I thought was a great game.
I did. It was on the BBC. It was an excellent game. I thought Burnley gave a good account of themselves. But Leicester, everybody says how well Leicester have started, but I still don't think they've quite hit top gear. There were elements in that game which were good, but then against better teams, I think if they don't improve, keeping the ball, but they'll not struggle.
I think you can tell they're missing Johnny Evans.
And not Johnny Madison, James Madison.
He's come back. He came off the bench.
Oh, he did. Yeah. He did.
I like Timothy Castagne. He looks a great sign.
He does, yeah.
Absolute bargain signing.
And his versatility as well. It's always good to have a versatile player who can play lots of positions.
Something about him tells me that he could be the signing of the season. He looks phenomenal.
How long have we said that? You look at Leicester. What amazing recruitment they've done. Signed Riyad Mahrez for £600,000. Sold him for 60 million. Signed N'Golo Kante for something like £7 million. Sold him for 30 million. Chilwell came for the academy. Sold him for 50 million. And there's others as well.
Barnes will go next. Barnes.
But don't you think they've done amazing recruitment and then sell off? Like all Leicester's players seem to get sold for far more than they gave. They obviously have such a good scouting network.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the quality of the goals? Because I thought that all of them had a little bit of quality in, apart from the own goal, which was just unfortunate.
It was unfortunate. I felt a bit sorry for
The
them.
first goal for Burnley, I really liked. The pure strength from Chris Wood. Held his man off, took the ball down, bang.
Handball? Handball?
No, because I think VAR would have given it. All goals are checked
Fair
by
enough.
VAR now anyway, aren't they? That's another thing.
Yeah.
If he was offside, not offside, if it was a handball, it would have been given. So I'd say not. First goal as well for Leicester, the equaliser. Brilliant take by Vardy. Good pass into Castagna. Great awareness from Castagna to find Harvey Barnes and a brilliant finish.
Yep.
Harvey Barnes, for me, deserved man of the match. But Castagna was definitely up there. Obviously provided the cross for the own goal. And we saw a Dennis Pratt, an absolute wonder strike as well. What a goal.
He's a bit of a prat.
The only problem I think for Burnley is they need Tarkovsky and me back. I think.
Well, yeah, there's talk of him
Well,
going.
is Tarkovsky not playing because his head's not in the right place, or
Injured,
what?
aren't they? Because apparently, isn't he? Because apparently he's not going anywhere.
Oh, I don't know.
Very surprised if it's not.
I think.
How's he not scored? How's he not scored? Oh my god.
I think.
Oh. Header, middle of the box, 3 yards out, and he's put it into the keeper's midriff. Oh, Lincoln, what are you doing?
I think for
Oh, how's he not scored? Sorry.
I think for Burnley, you know, if it was me, you know, they obviously need the defenders back. We're hearing that Dale Stevens from Brighton, who's a solid player that doesn't get mentioned very much, and Harry Wilson from Liverpool are the two that are apparently on the, which would be good additions, I think. You know, they've got McNeil down the one side, and then I'm not quite sure if he play on the other side, which probably tells you everything.
What's going on with what's his face, with Harry Wilson? Is he staying at Liverpool or what?
I've just told you, he's supposed to be going to Burnley.
I can't hear you, mate. You're breaking up.
Oh, hang on a minute. Tell him he's supposed
No, I
to be
can
going
hear
to
you now.
Burnley.
Carry on.
Oh. Yeah, he's supposed to be going to Burnley. I've just said that 3 times.
On loan or
No,
permanent?
permanent, I think.
I think Liverpool are making a mistake. But there you go.
Yeah, but I'm not being funny. They've got Mane, they've got Salah, they've got Jota, they've got
True.
Shaqiri, they've got Minamino, they've got Harvey Elliott. You know, there's no room.
Yeah,
I
They've
like
got
him,
plenty.
though. He needs first team football, I suppose, doesn't he? So.
yes.
I think it's a little bit harsh that he would be behind Minamino or Harvey Elliott, but you know, it is what it is.
Exactly.
We've not seen a lot of Minamino, have we? When he came from Salzburg, he had big reviews about him, but he's not really had a chance, has he?
No, but obviously the problem there being that, again, you know, you've got your Mane and your Salah, so you know, and they're in pretty peak physical condition as well.
Yes.
They're not gonna
You've
miss.
got your world class players there, haven't you? So,
Yeah, they're not, because they're so good physically. They're so physically fit. They're not going to miss very many games either, which is
No.
another problem for players. So now we're going to talk about Monday's game, but just before we do, Monday's games, sorry, which I'm going to leave for you guys to talk about because I haven't seen too much about either of those games. But Leicester, what are we thinking? I'm thinking top 6 this year based on what I've seen.
With the Europa League, top 10.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go for probably that because I think with the Europa League added to them, I think they're gonna might struggle in terms of squad depth. So, and yeah, so I think that they're gonna struggle this year, in my view. So yeah, I think they'll finish 10th or 11th or something.
And Burnley?
I agree.
Oh well,
15.
yeah, they'll be definitely safe, won't they?
I think that the problem with Burnley is on the budget they're on, they're kind of a little bit stuck, aren't they?
Yeah.
I still can't see them getting relegated.
Oh no, I don't think so either.
And well done to Burnley for sticking with Sean Dyche all these years.
Well, the thing is that
He deserves a job higher up, he does.
he's solid though.
He
Isn't he?
deserves a job with him.
What the fudge was that? Oh. Okay.
Right, well,
Yeah, I just heard like some weird squeak noise. Never mind.
That's probably your door.
not a bad shout. But yeah, so
Composure.
go on, sorry.
I was going to say, keep your composure, boys. Professionalism.
Yeah, on to Monday's games. The first one was obviously Villa and Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Ended 1-0 Villa. I thought it was a very good header from Esri Konsa.
Yeah.
And Villa
I didn't think
deserved winners.
John Egan. I didn't think John Egan deserved to get sent off. Yes, he was the last man, but I'm not sure he hardly touched Watkins, did he? I only saw the highlights. But,
Yeah, I mean, it was 2 yellows, wasn't it? It wasn't a straight red.
or was it? I don't know. Fair
I
enough.
thought it was 2 yellows.
I didn't see, so.
Oh God, great. I've only seen.
I think it was. It was 2 yellows. It was 2 yellows. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if it was a straight red, then I think that would be quite harsh. But because it wasn't exactly. Here's one that's a talking point that we've not mentioned. The Bissouma red card for Brighton against Newcastle. Was it a red for you?
I didn't think it was intentional because he went to kick the ball, but it was dangerous play. So even though he didn't mean it, for me it was a red card. Yeah, because his boot was up high and his studs made contact with his face.
Well, he twatted him in the face with his boot, didn't he?
Yeah, looked quite rough.
I didn't think he meant it because the ball
No,
was
no.
high up, so he was actually definitely trying to play the ball.
He didn't
But
mean
he
it because
just
he wasn't even looking. So I think.
No, he just stuck out a leg. He stuck out a leg thinking the ball was there and got Jamal Lewis's face. But it was dangerous play, so
Yes.
I don't think the ref had any option.
Had to be sent off, but it's a bit, it's unfortunate, but he did have to go for me.
Yeah, I agree with you both on that point. Yeah.
I agree. By the letter of the law, you can't. It's a bit like, it reminded me of, in the US Open recently, in the tennis, Novak Djokovic hit a ball behind him and it hit
He did, didn't he?
the
Yeah.
line judge in the throat.
Yeah.
She started coughing. And he didn't mean to hit her, with the
No.
ball, but he didn't look where he was hitting the ball. So it was dangerous play, and it was a bit like that with Basuma. He didn't look, so it was dangerous.
Silly
Yeah, he had to go.
silly boy, wanting over for doing that.
Yes.
Just off topic, silly boy.
But it's a similar thing, isn't it? You know, he just whacked the ball away in anger and just didn't look, and
Yeah,
unfortunately, hit the
like I
lady in
said,
the throat.
yeah, like I said in sport, well, in any time of life, you know, people can, you know, just suddenly lose it, can't they?
I mean, what Novak did, 8 times out of 10, that ball wouldn't have hit that lady. But the 1 in 100 time he hit it that way, it hit her in the throat.
Yeah.
But I was just making a comparison. So yeah, it's a sending off for me. I don't know what Will thinks, but
No, I would agree. You know, he obviously didn't mean it, Basuma, but yes, for me, good decision and definitely a red.
So, going back to Villa, Sheffield United, I don't think have started too well.
No.
they haven't. But they'll be all right. Sheffield, but
I think
they'll be all right. They won't have as good a season as they did last season. They'll finish about 15th, 16th, but
See,
they'll have enough to survive.
I think I disagree. I think they'll be close to a relegation battle, but just about survive.
Nah, I'm not having it. Nah, I don't. I think you're wrong, Will. My dad says the same, but I can't.
I don't know. I like the look of who they've recruited. So you know, I know quite a little bit about Ethan Ampadu. You know, I know that Jaden Bogle and Max Lowe are both two great signings.
From Derby.
Yeah, Oliver Burke, as we've spoke about, I'm not too keen on. But yeah, it's not the greatest of starts for them. But
Ramsdale is a good signing because he proved, even though Bournemouth went down, I was impressed with him personally.
Yeah, Ramsdale. Bless you.
Yeah,
Ramsdale's very good. I think that was a great bit of business.
Yes.
it's not as good as Dean Henderson, but they weren't going to get as anybody as good as Dean
No,
Henderson.
but
were they?
I also think that Ramsdale could be in with a shout in the next couple of years, depending on what happens with the likes of Pickford.
Well, yeah, Pickford's got to be very careful because, you know, in the League Cup, I mean, I
we'll
saw
get
it.
there. No, don't you dare. We'll get there.
Oh, sorry.
He's a miserable bastard anyway. He really is.
This is definitely not for kids, definitely.
I want to have a proper conversation about Pickford. I want to
have a conversation about Pickford.
We've already gone. Fucking hell! We've already gone 10 minutes. We've already gone 10 minutes over the 2 hours we said, and we're not even halfway through like what we wanted to talk about. But yeah, I think Ramsdale's a good signing as well. You're right. I think they'll do. They'll consolidate, but I think it was maybe a one. I think it was a one season thing and getting that far up. You know, Chris Wilder throughout the course of the season, Chris Wilder was all about, we're not thinking about Europe, and I think that's probably true. You know, I think they knew they overperformed. You know, take nothing away from the performances, Egan, O'Connell, Baldock and Stevens, you know, Lundstrom, McBurney.
Yep.
Players all played phenomenally.
I would say they were all at the maximum though, weren't they? So,
Yes.
You know, the absolute maximum, the whole squad. So to do that again, when you've not got the resources that other teams have got,
It's a big ask.
Liverpool have got a 7.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right, okay, definitely game over.
There's still 1 minute left plus injury time, so you never know till the whistle blows.
You think it's going to be 7-7?
Yeah, can you imagine?
No. I'm messing. I'm just saying, you never know.
Sorry.
Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but it's not been the best of start for them. Villa, it was good. It was good to see
Ollie
them.
Watkins is a good signing.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins is
Yep.
really good.
He'll be a good signing. I mean, yes, he is. Well, yeah.
Scored tonight as well.
Did he on? Yeah. Who did they play?
Oh God.
Come on, Mister. I know everything.
Yeah, but I don't know everything.
No, nobody
I'm
knows
just trying to
everything.
keep it on task.
Oh, boys,
God, hang on.
would you just fill in? I just need to go you know where, so,
Okay, Bristol they played. So that's
okay,
pretty
I'll be
good
back
result.
in a minute.
Yeah, that's what we'll be hearing in a minute. Oh dear.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Colin. We'll get back to the football. Yeah.
I noticed in the comments we've got a friend of ours that Will did not acknowledge the comment of. So hello there, mate. You all right?
Who is it?
It's well, I'm sure he won't mind us saying it's Ben, not Ben Carney, but the other Ben.
All right. Okay. Hi, Ben.
You know which one I mean, right? Like Ben.
Yeah, you mean Ben? Say again.
Ben and Indy Ben.
Oh, Ben McCabe, Ben. Hi, Ben. How you doing, pal? I thought you meant Ben Hume, then. But, yeah.
I hope he's
Hi,
still
Ben.
watching. I bet he's not watching. I bet he's not watching because Will's ignored his comment.
Come on, Ben. We need you. How you doing, pal?
Yeah, to answer your question, Ben, we are currently talking just through Facebook Messenger. It's not brilliant, but it'll do. And yeah, so to just get back onto topic, and I'll wait and see whether we get a response from Ben. I don't know. I've been impressed with Villa by what I've seen. I think again that they've strengthened, but are they going to struggle again? Possibly. Grealish staying's a big push for them. It's difficult to not go over the same kind of subjects. Oh God. I think you need some WD-40 on that fucking door, mate.
What was the highlight of the show? And with that, ladies and gentlemen, our very own Tube Mix has returned, if you didn't know it already.
Yeah, you couldn't tell by the fucking big, massive door open.
Thank you. Oh, that's better.
Glad you're feeling that. But you missed a comment out, Will.
What?
There's been comments and you didn't talk about them.
Oh, sorry, that must have been when I was in the bathroom.
No, I don't think it was. It was just before you went.
Oh, sorry. Oh, right. Oh, yes. Hello, Zeno. Well, can't pronounce your name, but hi.
You know who that is. I'm about to say, you know who that is, surely.
I do, yes. Well, should I call him by his YouTube name or just Say his real name.
Well, Sam already said what his name was. I was trying to call him by his YouTube name, but Sam already said who it was. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's fine.
He's probably not even watching because you ignored him. So.
Sorry. Apologies, Ben.
Boo.
Sorry. Apologies, mate.
Boo. 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 Red card.
Yeah. So, just to very quickly finish on last week's games, we had Man City and Wolves. Personally, I thought Wolves were going to do Man City, but
they were awful first half. City were brilliant first half. Wolves were off it. Scored some good goals. Second half, Wolves were the better team. And had enough chances to get level at 2-2, but missed a lot of them before Jimenez scored, and then right at the end, Gabriel Jesus scored to give City all 3 points and to surpass the goal record set of 43 Premier League goals in one weekend, to go up to 44 with the last kick of the game.
Should I give you some stats, boys, or not?
From the Wolves and City game,
Yeah.
we're running majorly behind on schedule.
Okay, yeah. Leave the stats then.
Are we doing the cup games, or are we not?
Yeah, we still. I think we'll just have to glaze over them.
Yeah, it'll be fine. We can extend it a little bit.
Alright.
So yeah, I don't know. I think City look okay. Played his debut. They talk about Jules Koundé from Sevilla coming in.
Yeah.
I really like Foden. I think he's gonna fit in and be that David Silva replacement.
Yes.
Again, comparing players, I think David Silva's hard to live
I
up
think he's
to.
gonna take his place in the team, but I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think he's going to, be the same player. I think Foden is actually quicker and also a little, well, maybe not a little bit more. I think he's got more skill or potential to be a more skillful player.
I think David Silva's better on the ball than Foden is.
At the end of the day, he's still, what is Phil Foden, 20? So
something like that.
I imagine we lost Ben, by the way. So well done, Will.
Let me check. It says one watching now, so that'll be me.
I think the one watching now is probably me.
Oh, okay.
I've got it open as well. That's not too good. But oh dear. So yeah, I think City will be challenging again. To me, it's between City and Liverpool, but
Chelsea maybe have a squeaky bum chance, but they can get everybody to gel.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen. We haven't seen that full team together yet. We haven't seen what I imagined Frank Lampard would want his starting lineup to be yet. So I'm not even going to say, this could be what their team could be like, because it's a difficult one.
So, whilst JLI Wheels has clearly lost his ability to speak, I will take over.
have actually. I was a little bit thrown off. But yeah, no, that was the end of my point. That I just think that it's between City and Liverpool. Just because I don't think that what we've seen from the other teams at the minute is anything near what we need to see. I think Chelsea, obviously, they've not got the starting, the 11 that we imagined that Frank would want. The Thiago Silva, the Chilwell, Havertz, Werner. I think we are going to see that. I think probably on Saturday, but I think there's not much point to me of talking about Chelsea as contenders until we've seen what they can do.
I'm good at early predictions, say they're title winners. So.
What, Chelsea?
Yes.
I think it's too early to ask them to gel. They've got all the tools now, barring a good goalkeeper. We don't know about Mendy's unproven. But outfield-wise, they've got all the tools, but I think it might be a year too early. It's a lot to ask. There's a lot of players.
I agree that Mendy's unproven as well. That's also something that I kind of I'm a little bit apprehensive about. That's one of my problems, is that I really don't want to. I don't want to make judgments before we've seen what we need to see. So it's difficult. But on the topic of I have lost what I'm trying to say. In the interest of not completely losing the plot with this, one thing I really want to talk about is the performance of the Premier League clubs during the midweek cup games, because I think there were some talky points. We mentioned earlier on about Jordan Pickford not having a great game. We also mentioned about Moise Kean scoring for Everton.
Yes.
And him getting some confidence.
Joelinton.
Yep, Joelinton also bagged a few, didn't he?
Yeah.
So to me, when we're talking about Chelsea just now, it was definitely very encouraging to see, the likes of Abraham scoring, Havertz scoring, Barkley scored, Chilwell got an assist, Thiago Silva had a solid debut. But the only thing for me is, and again, maybe this is because I am a Chelsea fan and I don't want to, be one of those people that's like, oh yeah, we're going to win the league, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It's because it's a 6-0 against Barnsley. Do you know what I'm saying? So
You've got to put it into perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If it's 6-0 against Man City, then you can start to get excited.
Yeah. Then I think you'd be like, holy shit, you know what I mean?
Didn't City beat you to 6-0 a few years ago, George?
Yeah, and that's the difference in class, isn't it? Do I think City?
I just thought I'd bring back the memories for you, mate.
I think they are still capable of doing that, and that's what worries me. Is that I really, really hope that Thiago Silva is going to bring that stability into the defence.
Hello?
Yeah.
You hearing me all right, Will?
Yes, yeah, I can, mate, yeah.
Good. Is Sam still there?
Yeah, I think Sam's still there.
He's gone, hasn't he?
Sam, can you hear me? Okay, I'll have to come back in.
No. I think it's him. I think he's got to go.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, and we spoke about Man United and Luton, so I don't really want to do that again.
No. We've talked about plenty of that, so.
Great result for Liverpool today.
Yep, 7-2 it finished.
And Newcastle the same to beat Morecambe 7-0. I think 7 against any kind of team is good. Same as what I was saying about Chelsea. To score 6 against Barnsley is very good, but my point is, how does that translate against the top Premier League side?
Yeah.
I think obviously Jordan Pickford, as we saw, didn't have a very good game against Fleetwood. In fact, it was pretty poor. So, more question marks about him. Obviously, they had João Virginia in net against Salford, didn't they? And I thought he played okay. I sort of thought that they might have stuck with him as the cup goalkeeper.
He signed a new contract.
He has a new 4-year deal, yeah. So maybe I think he's their new number 2 now, isn't he? Because Stekelenburg's gone back to Ajax.
Yeah.
And other than I don't know who I don't think they've got another senior option.
No.
And City, obviously, City have won. They had mostly kids on, so that's good for them as well. Another goal for Ollie Watkins for Villa. Goals for Bertrand Traore on his debut as well.
Yep, finished 3-0 to Villa.
So basically, just being able to see those kinds of players, being able to see what they can do, seeing the options and stuff is what I mean is good, obviously, because it gives us a look at the newer faces when they come into the Premier League. That was literally the only reason I wanted to talk about it. And I think because there isn't too much to say that we haven't already said. We talked about the likes of Ramsdale and the England goalkeeper situation. To me,
yep.
We've talked about England goalkeepers before.
We have, yeah.
Me, Nick Pope should be England's number 1.
Yeah.
And that's that. There's not much more to say about it.
No, I agree with you.
I'm not going to say too much more because it's all been said. And let's get into the predictions for next week, shall we? So, Man United and Brighton, what are you reckoning?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because obviously they have struggled against Brighton in the past, haven't they?
Yeah,
and
they're one of the sort of bogey teams, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, although I'd like to think the Luton win, even though it was against Luton, would be the kind of confidence in that they'll get more fitter as they go each game.
I understand that because I want to feel like that about Chelsea, but I also think you can't, if you're beating, the expectation should be to beat a lower league team anyway.
Yes, that is true.
Do you know what I mean?
It's hard.
Without discrediting those results, for sure. I don't want to discredit those results because they're good results for the teams. But there's no doubt that the extra fitness will always help. But I think you look at Brighton and I don't know. They've always been a United bogey team. I just can't look past them. I think it's only going to be, if Brighton do win, it'll be a 1-0, 2-1 maybe.
Yeah.
It's not going to be an absolute thrashing, is it?
No.
But I do think Brighton have enough and have shown enough, especially fitness-wise, that like their wing backs and their midfield, move around the pitch and move, they're so much fitter than United have looked.
Yeah.
Which probably is a big worry for United fans, but
yes.
So yeah, I think Brighton win or a draw. Yourself?
I think it's going to be a very hard one. I think Brighton are going to make it very tough. Particularly, I think Lamptey is definitely going to be a threat. But I'm going to go for a very tight game and United to nick it 1-0, I think.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Excuse me.
So, is Sam coming back, is he, or not?
I don't know, I imagine so.
Yeah, because he hopefully he is, because it'd be good for him to be back for his predictions as well.
He
So
was struggling to hear us, wasn't he?
yeah, hopefully he'll be back soon. Fingers crossed. Anyway, Crystal Palace v Everton. How do you see this one going?
First of all, very interesting game for me.
Yeah.
That two teams that have started well, two teams that have shown that they've got that little bit of class. I think I just can't look past Everton, to be honest.
I have to agree with you on that one.
I'm gonna say 3-1 to Everton.
I am going to go with 4-0 Everton just because I think even though Palace have been... they've only played one game, haven't they, in the league? Sorry. Wait, have they? Or have they not?
No, they've played twice, haven't they?
Twice, yeah, that's it. So it confused me because obviously United had only played one game.
Yeah, they won their opening two.
Yes, yeah, just, got a bit confusing. Anyway, I think, Everton, the midfield for Everton is going to be key in that game. And I just think Palace are going to find it very hard. And I'm going for a 4-0 thrashing by Everton.
Palace have got a very good midfield, no doubt. But I'm with you in the respect that, Everton's midfield is so superior at the minute. Or it seems.
Yes.
It seems almost, capable of controlling any game, and I'm really excited to see how they're going to play when they play against a bigger team.
Absolutely.
No disrespect to Tottenham, obviously, because technically they've already played a bigger game.
Yes.
Tottenham are a bigger team, but when Tottenham played that game, they were second best to Everton, who just completely dominated the game for me. So I'm really excited to see what the Arsenal, the Liverpool, the Chelsea, the City, the United as well. I think Everton versus United is going to be very interesting this year.
It is going to be a very interesting game, that one, when they do play United.
But I do think that because Palace do have that quality, I do think that they are going to at least get one goal.
So what are you going for then?
I'm going for 3-1, like I said, yeah.
Okay.
Chelsea, West Brom, I'm just going to say, I think out of all the teams, the one team I've been most disappointed with, other than West Ham, is probably West Brom.
Yeah.
So I think we'll win there. I think a 2-0 win is good enough. You?
I'm going to go 4-0 Chelsea just because I think West Brom, they haven't got off to a good start at all, and unfortunately I just can't see them doing well this year. And obviously it's going to be quite a big occasion for Ivanovic because obviously he's heading against his old club. But yeah, I'm going to go with a 4-0 Chelsea win, I think.
Yeah, okay. Burnley and Southampton.
See, this is a tough one because obviously, because Southampton, they lost against Palace. Burnley,
they lost against Palace and they got absolutely destroyed against Spurs as well.
Yeah, it's a tough one because although you'd think Southampton, do you know, I'm going to go with a 2-0 Southampton. No, actually a 1-0 Southampton win. Danny Ings to score and for them to get back on track, I think. But it's not going to be easy.
I'm going to go with a 1-1. I'm going to say Danny Ings and Chris Wood to score.
Fair enough, because Chris Wood, I mean, what a signing he's been since he left Leeds for Burnley. Scored a lot.
Brilliant. Right, so let's move on to Sunday's games. Sheffield and Leeds. That's going to be a proper derby, that.
Yeah, can't wait for that one. I'm going to go 2-0 Leeds, I think. Yeah, 2-0 Leeds.
I don't know, because think about it, how attacking Leeds have been does leave gaps, but I've never thought of Sheffield United as the team to really exploits gaps.
No.
So I probably think that I'll go for a 2-0 Leeds. I'll go for that.
Yeah.
Tottenham Newcastle.
Again, this is an interesting one because obviously Newcastle got to a great start, and then they got absolutely battered, didn't they?
Depends which Tottenham turn up, and it depends which which Newcastle turn up as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And obviously Newcastle, you know, they've strengthened. You know, whether Tottenham. Well, they have strengthened, but they do need a few more players in, and I think that could really help Newcastle. So I'm gonna go with a 1-0. It's going to be a tight game. 1-0 Newcastle win, and for Callum Wilson to score, I reckon.
Yeah, I think I'll go for. I'm going to go 1-0 Tottenham, and I'm going to say Heung-min Son.
Okay.
Leicester, Man City.
Oh, another cracking game, which should be full of goals. I'm
going to say 3-0 City.
Joe, I'm going to go for a 3-3 draw, I think.
I can't see past City myself.
Well,
right now.
See, the big thing for me for City is the defence. Are they brought Nathan Ake, but are they... Is their defence... Do they still have the problems in defence? But you could say Leicester are obviously missing Johnny Evans, aren't they? So they've not got their strength defence. So that's why I kind of think it is going to go to a draw, I think, just because of those two reasons.
Leicester are hugely missing Johnny Evans, but Ndidi hasn't done too bad at the back.
No. And Rodgers said he has all the attributes to play as a central defender. Ndidi, I think he's quite physical, isn't he?
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he'd be a great signing for United. He really would.
So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with a 3-0 to City. And West Ham Wolves.
I'm afraid I can only see one way for this. I think Wolves need a reaction because obviously they've not started great, have they? They've lost both their opening 2 games. So for me, Wolves will get a reaction, and I think West Ham 2-0 Wolves, and I think it's going to be comfortable. I think West Ham are really going to struggle this season. Would you agree with that?
I think I'm going to go for 3-1 Wolves.
3-1 Wolves, okay.
I think that obviously West Ham have got the players, especially out wide, and Haller is always an interesting player that can cause problems. So I think they have got the ability to at least score one.
Yeah.
But, I can't see West Ham getting anything from that game either.
No.
So Monday, 2 games. One's massive, one not so much. First one, Fulham versus Aston Villa.
This is a hard one, isn't it? I think.
I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw.
I'm gonna go for that as well. I think it's these are the type of games against your Villas that Fulham really need points, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not against the big teams like Arsenal. That's fair enough, but against your Aston Villas, it's
this next one as well. This next game, Liverpool Arsenal.
Oh yeah, an old rivalry, isn't it? That
I'm really, really struggling to separate, because part of me thinks, oh yeah, Liverpool have got Mane, Salah, Firmino, but Arsenal have got Aubameyang.
yeah, and the Community Shield, of course, they beat them, didn't they?
Yeah, there is that.
I'm gonna go with. I think because Arsenal are in great form and Liverpool have not. It's hard. I'm gonna go for a tight 1-0 win for Arsenal. I think Aubameyang to continue the scoring. I think.
Well, the thing is Liverpool haven't been convincing at all, and I do agree with that. Like I said, I just think, Chelsea missing chances that let them down.
Yeah.
So for me, maybe there's something for Arsenal to exploit. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
Okay. No, I'm going to go with a tight game. A game with lots of chances, but obviously both teams will be. Won't want to lose. So it's going to be a scrappy game, but Arsenal to get over the line with a 1-0 win.
Yeah, okay. What do you want to do about Sam? Do you want to wait for him or not?
Well, I would, because I'd really like to hear his predictions. It would be a shame if he couldn't come back. I really do want to wait for him, if I'm honest.
Because we are almost.
Yeah, I know we're almost at the end, but I really, especially as he, went off so abrupt, mind you, he's offline. He's not even online on air.
Yeah, I think if he was gonna come back, usually he would have come back by now.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
And to be honest, there's not too much left to talk about for me.
No, we've covered pretty much everything, and even though we have gone off topic, lots of times, I will admit, it's still been a really great show. We've had a laugh.
We've still always stayed on the topic of football, which is good.
We have, yeah.
The only thing we have gone off topic about is obviously, talking like maybe too in depth about a subject, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No. Sometimes it's good to get that, in depth, isn't it?
That's the right kind of thing that you want to see. Is it great to have a 3-hour show? Probably wouldn't say so, but if it gets across everything we wanted to get across, I think it's all good.
Exactly, I would agree with you. Yeah, that's that'd be really good if Sam couldn't come back. But yeah, it probably unless. Well, yeah, he usually would be back by now. But he's not even online here. I mean, do you want to try adding him back to the call and see what happens, George?
Okay. While I do that, why don't you let everybody know what's coming from Tube Mix and
yes,
both Tube Mix and Football Central?
Yes. Well, obviously, we'll be back on Saturday for the Brighton and United game, and so that kicks off at 12:30. So I reckon 11 till 12. Do you reckon that?
Yeah. No, I don't know whether the boys will be up that early, but I should hope so.
Okay. But if not, what we could do is we could just do a sort of a late roundup, couldn't we, in the day of it, of all those games on the day anyway. So
I can at least do the pre-match.
Okay. So we'll be definitely back on Saturday for United v Brighton. And yeah, so definitely be back for that. And I'm delighted to say, of course, that I think I did mention. Oh yeah, we did mention it. But Ben will make his long-awaited comeback and his first appearance of the season. It'll be like a new signing, won't he?
Yeah, definitely a brand new signing.
Yeah, He's just got to put pen to paper and all the necessary paperwork.
Yeah, hopefully we can all gel together as a team and challenge that title.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'll issue a challenge for anybody.
Okay.
Right now, and say if there's anybody within this team, that's you, Sam or Ben, that can make a better intro than that, then
I like that. I like that challenge. Yeah, I'll see what I can come up with.
No, I was gonna say I'll give you some money, but I'm not giving anybody any money.
No. This is all just a bit of fun.
So yeah. So we'll be back on Saturday morning.
We will. Yep.
And then there was talks about us doing the post-match stuff after the Chelsea game as well. That's what we said, wasn't it? I don't know whether you agree to that or not.
Yes. Yeah. After Chelsea v West Brom, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be up for that. Yeah. Let me just see what time that is. That's Sunday, isn't it? Or is that Saturday?
Yeah, So the game starts at 5:30, so we'd probably do the post-match at about 7:30.
Well, yeah, that'd work for me because I'd have listened to 606 and watched Final Score and Football Focus, and then not long before match of the day. So that would work for me. That's the ideal window, really, on a Saturday for me.
Yeah, I think that's something that we all need to talk about as a group then, and we'll see why that goes.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we need to that's coming up on the channel that you might want to?
Well, obviously, I do want to do the last couple of episodes of the review show, but not sure where I'm gonna fit them in particularly.
Well, I said to you tonight that if you could, tomorrow would be a good time to fit them in because then you can have it all finished for Saturday's games.
Yes, yeah, okay. So what I'll do is I'll try do a double episode tomorrow, and then the finale on sometime on Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever you want to do, I'm not really involved in that side bit, am I? So.
No. You said you might join me for Toy Story, didn't you? When I reviewed that.
Yeah, I might do one or two.
I mean, Toy Story, because obviously that's a big film in the history, really, of animation, isn't it? Because it's the first full-length computer-generated animated film, and it's the one that put Pixar on the map, so...
You know, it's also probably, like, that's like the film of my childhood as well, so...
Well, yeah, and there's so much quotable lines. You are a toy! So, yeah, it's a really great film, and there's something for the adults as well. There's lots of adult references, which I wouldn't have got, but now I see it in a whole different new angle. Anyway, so that's going to be one of the films, classic Toy Story. The 1967 animated classic, of course, the original Jungle Book. I want to do that one. And a documentary about the Sherman Brothers, the boys, the Sherman Brothers story is the one I also want to do as well. So, yeah, we will see. I'll try and get that finished so I can slowly focus on football for certainly the rest of this year. And
as for us at Football Central, I think the next time you'll see us is obviously on Friday.
Yep.
And hopefully on maybe on the Monday if you want to do the Liverpool-Arsenal game.
Oh yeah, I really would want to do that because that's a big game. Yeah. Yeah, certainly I'd like to do that. So, yeah, well, I think... Sorry, Joe, what did you say?
Here he is, I said.
Oh, has Sam turned up? Way! He's back!
I don't know, after all that, I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
Sam, can you hear me? I'll try coming back and then...
No, I can't hear him either. It's not you.
Oh, okay.
Should we give him a minute, should we?
Yeah, give him a minute, especially because he's just joined. Maybe he accidentally hit mute, you know?
No, he's gone again now.
Oh, for goodness sake. Maybe he'll try to come back in, maybe. I'll just give him a minute. Excuse us, guys, we're just having some technical issues, but hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. I certainly have. I think it's been a really good one. We've all been. I think. I spilled a little bit of chocolate milkshake on my desk. Never mind. Anyway, like I said, we've had a great show. We've had a laugh. Which there's three. Oh, is he back? I heard a ring. Must have imagined that.
I can't hear anything.
I thought I heard like the Facebook ring. I must be completely going crazy. But nothing new there. Like I said, that we've said this before, there's 3 things that we want to do on this show. Give you the latest football news, but also in these challenging times, give you just a bit of a laugh and escapism. Would you agree with that, George?
Yeah, I think we do very well at what we do. I think the only problem is that obviously making sure that it gets out to the people it needs to get out to.
Yep, but as you've seen, I've rebranded to Tube Mix, changed the channel art, added titles. We're trying to do things all the time that will improve the show and the channel, aren't we?
100%.
I had an idea.
We're sticking to trying to keep it the way Will wants to as well, which is important.
Yep.
None of us have taken over. It's all about basically just what Will wants. You there, Sam?
So, sorry guys, I've had major internet problems.
Worst internet of the year, courtesy of Sam Taylor.
What, even worse than mine?
Well, do you know, that'd be a tough one actually. A scrappy game.
I've spent the last half an hour trying to get it on.
Well, while you're here, Sam, me and Joel did the predictions. So, do you want to just do go quickly through the predictions for next week's, this week's games and stuff?
We'll do it quick fire because we basically wrapped it up. So
okay, quick fire. Okay? Lovely.
I'm sorry about that, lads.
No, that's all right, Sam. That's all right. Okay, so Brighton v United, Sam.
2-0 Brighton.
Okay. Crystal Palace v Everton.
3-0 Everton.
Okay. West Brom v Chelsea.
2-0 Chelsea.
Okay. Burnley v Southampton.
0-0.
Okay. Sheffield United v Leeds United.
1-0 Sheffield.
Okay. Tottenham Hotspur v Newcastle United.
2-1 Tottenham.
Okay. Manchester City v Leicester City.
How about Wolves?
Hang on. West Ham United. Wait, what did you say about the Manchester City v Leicester game? What was your prediction? Oh, fudge, he's not gone off again, has he? Oh, no. Sam, can you hear me? Can you hear him, Jord?
No, he's gone, mate.
Oh, God.
We got a little bit of what we were going to get from him. I think what we'll do is we'll end it there. And
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap up as well. So thank you for your company, Jello Wheels, and thanks to Sam Taylor as well. Thank you, boys.
Always good to get a full 90 minutes under the belt.
Absolutely.
Sam struggled with that niggling injury again.
Yeah, he's just come onto the field and his injury's already been played up.
Yeah, he's already been taken off once, and then he thought he was okay to continue, and then it's played up again. So
yeah, the Jack Wilshere of internet.
Yeah, always good to do these.
Yeah.
So yeah, look forward to Saturday morning to get one out. Oh, here we are.
Oh, is he back?
Sorry, lads. Same thing happened again.
Let's just continue. So where were we? Right, Leicester v City. What did you say for that one? Sam?
Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
Sorry, mate, I didn't catch that.
Oh, thank God you're still there.
Yeah, he's here.
Okay, so Manchester City beat Leicester City.
Yeah.
3-1 City. Okay. Man City.
Okay, right. West Ham United beat Wolves.
1-0 Wolves.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. On to Monday's games. Fulham and Aston Villa.
3-0 Aston Villa.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay. Liverpool v Arsenal.
1-1 draw.
Okay. Phew. We got all the predictions there.
So, sorry lads about my internet. It's just because I'm on a really old cable getting it fixed.
No, it's alright, Sam.
His internet just died while he was saying that. It hasn't it?
Oh no.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Alright, okay, so we're going to wrap up there. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you very much for watching. If you want to, you know what I'm going to say. Like, share, comment and subscribe to the Tube Mix YouTube channel.